History celebration. Although I know Black History is every single day of the year, this is a recognition. And I feel bad, not being able to be there. But, for many that know where I work, right now the college is going through some stuff and with enrollment, and we were having a major meeting with all the powers that be, so it was at the same time, and because of the switch and the snowstorm, I couldn't be there. So truly my apologies. I also want to say, because of also this emergency with today's meeting, I do have a commitment at 7:00, so I'm gonna try my best to be here for the whole time, but this was something that was already scheduled before this emergency meeting. But I know that we have to do it, so we're here. So thanks a lot.
Council President, we're live.
Madam Clerk, is Ryan around?
Yes, Council President.
Councilman Mendez is having some technical difficulties.
Okay.
I was wondering if you guys could reach out to him. I think he's having issues logging into his city email.
Okay, let me let Ryan know.
And he needs the link to get into the meeting.
Okay. 1 minute, please.
Sure.
If I may, Council President,
Yes, Councilwoman
I
Kyle.
also have a commitment that I do need to leave at least by 6:40.
Yeah, we're gonna try to have a quick, productive meeting.
Okay.
And hopefully it goes as planned. So.
Yes, I have to go to the same funeral as Councilman.
Yeah, this was a last minute, meeting, an emergency meeting, just to make sure that we address a few things and put things in place to prevent, or to improve our operation and when it comes to snow removal.
Director, for recycling, will it be picked up on Saturday?
Yeah, we got the crew coming in tomorrow.
Okay.
Director, was that just for the Monday and Tuesday, and the Wednesday is pushed to the next day, or?
No, they're gonna do Monday, Tuesday, and try to double back whatever areas was missed tomorrow. They're gonna try to do a whole nother round of whatever they get to in the city. But definitely the Monday and Tuesday routes.
Council President, I just want to address Madam BA real quick before you start the meeting. Pushback. Just a quick question. Is Market Street getting done today? I saw so much garbage and boxes almost right in front of City Hall. So I was just wondering, is that being done today?
The commercial route, yeah, they'll be in at 6.
Okay. I saw that and I was like, that's the face of our city and even the way that the garbage was put out from the businesses, does anyone go and let them know, listen, you just can't throw the garbage out like that? It was like all over, it didn't even look like organized, it just looked like they were just throwing it out there, right? I'm talking from McDonald's down, like going towards the college.
Well, we social media put on all our networks to let them know what the recycling was going to be, but it's with all the snow, it's just everywhere. It's everywhere like that. All the routes, even in our area, in the Hillcrest, the way it was put out, they got it though.
So Madam Clerk, we're waiting for DPW Chair to log in.
Ryan is assisting Council President.
Okay, so if he's assisting,
Should we proceed until he gets?
yeah, I think we should start. He should come up shortly. Yes. And Madam Clerk, let's also have the public portion, just, let's have it earlier. Let's do it at around 6 o'clock. I know it's only 5:43 right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So you want me to take the roll call, Council President?
Yes, please, thank you.
Roll call for Municipal Council emergency meeting for Friday, February 5th, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilwoman Cotton.
Here.
Councilwoman Davila.
Present.
Councilman Jackson. Councilman Kalik. Councilwoman Mims.
Here.
Councilman Velez.
Present, Madam Clerk.
Mr. President.
Present.
The roll is 7 present, 2 absent. Mr.
Yes, let's continue, Madam Clerk.
I'll read the special meeting notice and the agenda.
Yes.
Notice of meeting without 48-hour notice, advance published notice as an exception to the ordinary advance notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act. Please be advised that the Municipal Council of the City of Paterson has scheduled a meeting for Friday, February 5th, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. to be held via Zoom due to the current pandemic. As is practice for the City of Paterson public meetings over the course of the current pandemic, the meeting shall be broadcast on the City of Paterson YouTube channel and or channel 77, Cablevision and or channel 32, Verizon, with remote participation in the public portion via dial-in to 973-321-1579 with ID code A326. The normal notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have not been met. It is necessary to call this meeting pursuant to NJSA 10:4-9B because of a matter of such urgency and importance that a delay for the purpose of providing adequate notice would likely to result in substantial harm to the public interest. The nature of the urgency and importance is: 1, the Municipal Council to discuss the ongoing snow removal in the City of Paterson that affects the health and safety of the city will come and no formal action will be taken. If a meeting of the Municipal Council had been delayed in order to give proper notice under the Open Public Meetings Act, the crisis might have escalated for City of Paterson residents. This meeting was called on Thursday, February 4th, 2021, and on that day, notice of this meeting was given by posting the notice at City Hall, 155 Market, the City Clerk, and by sending the notice by fax to the Herald News and the Record, and the New Jersey Pulse, the Paterson Press, and other newspapers used for public notices as required by NJSA 10:4-9B3. This meeting will be limited to the discussion of and or action of the above described emergent matters. Dated February 4th, 2001, signed by the Council President and the Clerk.
So we're here tonight to discuss, and make some recommendations pertaining to the current term that we have. So let's just start it off so we don't prolong the meeting. Director, you want to start off just by basically giving us a summary of what took place during the storm?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. Got a couple talking points I want to go to first. The first is the weather reports that we received. On Friday, about 4:18, we got a report that we were having anywhere between 4 to 8 inches. The first report on Sunday at 10:42 indicated there was a 40% chance of 16 inches or more. On Monday at 4 a.m., we got a report a 30% chance of 18 inches or more. Not until 11:45 Monday morning did we get a report that 18 inches to 24 inches would be possible. And at that time, that was only 10% chance of happening. With that being said, the vehicles we had on hand, we had 33 vehicles. One payloader went down early in the storm with a drive shaft issue that took it off the road and is still off the road. Left us with 32 vehicles in the beginning of the storm. We had 16 large shredders, 3 supervisor pickup truck shredders on the routes. The routes contain, we have 6 areas with 17 different routes in those 6 areas. We had, at the beginning of the storm, we had trucks in every area. We did have some breakdowns. Start with, with my breakdown sheet. All right. We did have 8 trucks that broke down throughout the storm, not all at one time, but throughout the trucks. We had 8 breakdowns. Some being major, some being minor. From changing a rubber blade to we got some of these trucks into vendors. We got them back within the same day. We were out there. When these trucks come off the route, if you're in the east side section, truck went down. We'll put another truck in there after another truck finishes their route. We won't stop a route to go finish the route that the truck broke down on. Instead, all routes were covered. We had ample salt. We still have salt. We had calcium. Issues that happened were people throwing the snow back in the street. There was a lot of issues with the storm that if we probably would have knew before if we were getting the potential of getting 24 inches days before, then we would have had outside vendors on contract or on being ready to go. Our initial reports were 4 to 8 inches. We handle storms like that all the time. To be clear, the meeting said snow removal. This was a snow plowing operation. Removal was what we're doing now. Is downtown area, Main Street. We're going to be doing 21st Avenue tonight. That's when we take the snow off the street and bring it somewhere else so that cars are able to park.
Thank you, Director. I want to open it up for the DPW chair, and then we're going to have Councilwoman Mims.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you so very much and good evening, Council Cali. And the reason I called to this meeting as the chair of the DPW is because we all know what happened. I think that we all hear the concern of the community. This was very, very difficult and very concerning to the community. A lot of people got stuck on their home and missing day of work, missing the doctor's appointment, and even serious accident like a lady that broke her leg in multiple parts on East 23rd and 6th Avenue. Director, I would like to know you start by talking about the amount of truck that you have. I know I'm just gonna go into the recommendation. As you know, you and I, we got in contact. We were in contact, through the whole storm, and I was there until the middle of the night. I was out there day and night. I was very concerned with their operation. As you know, the Riverside section, it was untouched during the storm. You and I, we got in contact. There was a back and forth, and eventually we got a group over here to be able to address that situation. But the other side, East 31st, East 32nd, East 33rd, it was also in a terrible condition. You spoke about the 17 route. I would like to start to talk a little bit more about this. about the route, because one of the biggest concerns that I hear from all my constituents and the frustration that I have is that they used to call me, listen, Mendes, I saw a truck that they passed by with their plotter out, they not, what are they doing driving around? I would like to know how you organize those routes, because for example, in the third, I would like to know how you organize a route and how you split the fleet based on the 6 different work. One of the things that I'm concerned is that I just need to make sure that each work get the same amount of equipment and the same amount of resources to get the job done. But in this case, I would like to know how you split it. And also, some of my recommendations moving forward, Director, is that, and I know that that's one of the, I would like to hear from you moving forward, what we're gonna do to change, to make sure that it doesn't happen again. For example, you say that 8 truck broke down. When those trucks broke down, do you have any company, do we have any emergency company and backup that we could call and assist us with the quick when that happened? That's number one question that I have. And how you split the fleet among the different cities work, because what happened in Riverside section and on the other side, close to Riverside section, it was something very concerning to me. And I'd like to hear from you on that.
So those are 2 questions for the director, correct?
Correct.
Director, if you're ready, or you want to answer it after, you ready now?
It's up to you. You want me to wait or no?
Yes, sure. I think they should be simple enough, those 2 questions.
The route, yeah.
Before you move on, I'm wondering, who's Deanna Garcia?
They're gonna switch, yeah. I sent the information.
Yeah, I actually asked,
I sent it to Council President.
yes.
I didn't hear you.
I gave the information to Council President.
Okay. So, you can continue. Yes.
The access channel is not working. It's only on YouTube. I'm getting text messages. It's not on the access channel.
Do we have Ming? Madam Clerk, is Ming around?
Yes, he's here. Let me let him know.
Please let him know before we continue.
The line is going up to him. Thank you, Council President.
Sure. So Councilwoman Mims, we have a few people in queue already. If you don't mind, I don't know, Councilwoman Delis is going after you. If you don't mind, as soon as the director gives his response to those 2 questions, I think we should let the public speak, and then we can go back to the meeting.
Yes.
This meeting, so I'm looking at the different names. Do we get a response?
I believe she's a supervisor. Are you, Billy, Director, Ms. Garcia, she works with you?
No.
She doesn't.
Or the other person I see.
Ms. Garcia, are you a member of the public or you're a representative of, are you a member of the public?
Member of the public.
I think, yeah.
I gave them the right number. She has to log off and then call into the other number.
Yeah, Ms. Garcia, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you have the information? Oh, she hung up.
I gave it to her.
Mr. President, would you mind me announcing the numbers for the public to call?
Sure, please announce it again. I'm sorry, Councilwoman Cotton, I was, misinformed. Someone told me she was a supervisor. I apologize. But thank you for insisting. Thank you.
Thank you, yeah.
Thank you.
You know, sometimes you know what it is, you're just not sure, you know, who's on there, and, you know, and we need to know, especially on our meeting, who's on there.
Yeah, I happened to text a colleague, and I guess, you know, my colleague also, it was an oversight. Maybe they thought it was a supervisor. You know, DPW is big, and,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Okay.
Yes, so for the public portion, those who wish to participate may dial 973-321-1579, enter code 8326. If you wish to listen to the meeting, press *1, *2 to leave a recorded comment, and *3 to be added to the speaker sheet. Thank you. Council President, Ryan said the access channel is good.
Okay. Thank you. So, Director, if you want to answer quickly those 2 Yeah.
Alright, with the, 6 areas, we have, like I said, we have 17 routes. Area 1 is, East Side Avenues, East Side Streets, East Side Lower Streets, Banner, Riverside. Area 2, Hillcrest, Stony Road, Totowa. Area 3, First Ward Hills, First Ward Flats. Area 4, Lakeview, Peoples Park, Sandy Hill, South Paterson. Area 5 is downtown, Fourth Ward. Area 6 is public lots and buildings. That's the 6 areas, 17 routes. The, contractors we had on, we got them, I believe Monday, can't remember the time, exactly what time we came in, but we did get a contractor to help us out with a payload, because I said our front end loader went down, one of them. So we got in contact with our person agent. He allowed us to, get the contractors through an emergency. So we got the payloader to help us out since, Monday afternoon.
And the answers to 2 questions, Councilman?
They asked what contractors and what's the routes.
Correct. So the director, and again, the intent of this meeting is to improve things. So it is safe to say, based on what you said, that we didn't have a third-party contract on standby to help and assist in a storm this big. So in the future, we should have, a contractor on standby, so we could, make sure that we do better. We can always improve in everything. We need to improve, what we just did. Other municipality had third-party contractors assisting them. We didn't get the benefit of that. And I think going forward, we need to do that ASAP. That's the intent of this meeting.
Okay.
You want to add anything to that? You think it's a good idea, Director? Bad idea? How do you feel about that?
That's a great idea. We've spoken with the administration about this before. We used to have a contractor on hand. I think the last time we had it was 2010. It was 2010 the last time we had it on. There was an issue with us with the school board. We had to split the contractors at that time. At that time, I wasn't part of the administration. I was a regular supervisor. But we haven't had one since. That is something that we did talk about, and we will have further discussions moving forward. But I just want to add one more thing to that, and the storm it wasn't just Paterson. We still have other municipalities that are still plowing out. We got reports of other towns that even touch their secondary streets yet. We could always do better. In the perfect world, I would love to do better. I would like to have every inch of snow off the ground as soon as it hits, but this was a historical storm, and it was big.
So Director, we're going to go into the public portion, but I just want to add that, yes, to that point, our neighboring towns got the same snowstorm we did, but Councilman Ortelasis and I, for example, I believe it was the night after the storm, or when the storm ended, I can't recall, so many days that we had this situation with the snow, but we decided to just go for a drive, right? And we decided to look at those streets, on the other side of Crooks, because it was still snowing, but it was almost at the end of the snowstorm. We drove throughout, but then in this side of Paterson, even I think a day or two later, I was driving home until 12 o'clock. There were some streets that you could tell that maybe they passed once, maybe, because when you see the 2 tires, and I know people throw snow in the streets and everything, but you could tell when, it's created, when people throw snow in the street, you could see it like, it's not compact, like when a vehicle just drive through a street that, haven't been, touched. I saw today, just so you know, and I was shocked. A street on Spruce Street, there was one road there, and I got upset. I try to stay away from Facebook as much as I can. So I happened to see a comment today asking for where's the councilman of this ward? And I'm laughing and I'm saying, are you kidding me? That road is by the testing site. So I'm sure a lot of people from the administration passed through the street and saw this road. So this is not about pointing fingers. The thing is that 4 days later, we still have some streets that have that need to be plowed a little bit more because they're in tough conditions. But that's why we're here tonight, to have that conversation. Councilwoman Mims, and the comment I'm referring to, Spruce Street, right there, close to Spruce Street and Grant, close to the testing site. Yeah. Yeah, Councilman Mims, hold on a minute. You have Councilwoman Mims. We're going to go to public portion. Then we're going to have Councilman Delacies, yourself, and Councilwoman Cotton. Councilwoman Mims.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Council President. Director, the 6 areas and the 17 different routes, can you just email that to the council? It's kind of hard to write all that down, in the midst of everything, based on what we have. So even the trucks, everything that you said, that you have the 33 trucks, the 1 payload, the 1 that went down, all of that. I've sent an email with some recommendations, so I just want to put it on record. I sent it to the mayor as well as yourself, Madam BA, Chief of Staff, and here are some of the recommendations. So I'm going to put it on record. So first of all, we're having a joint meeting with the school district, which is already scheduled. So I'm looking forward to that, to see if there's some shared service opportunities. So that's going to be a great thing next week, which was already previously scheduled and had to be rescheduled. And now we're on for Thursday, the 11th. One of the things, since we are moving and we just received some capital improvement items, I would like to see Director, Madam BA, is the BA on? And see the BA, or is, BA, okay, I'm looking at the panels. So can we look into what the cost is for a snow go machine, whether we're purchasing it or leasing it? I think that was mentioned even times past. I know there's a current agreement in place with another town, but I would like to see what that cost is, whether through a purchase or a lease. Is not that something that we need to utilize for the full year. So can we get some of that information, and possibly that can be something that can be on, maybe 1 or 2 of them can be added into the capital improvement budget, which is a great thing. I saw it in Prospect Park. I saw it in Newark. I mean, it's for those that didn't see it, it's a machine that is taking the snow and it is dumping it in a huge, like a huge truck. And it's like a one-stop shop type of thing. So it's called the Snowball machine. So we can do that, and that could be something that could be considered for this capital plan that we haven't really went into full detail yet. I'm making that recommendation. Also, off-street parking for snow removal. When it comes to removing the snow, before the storm happened, I took a list of all the areas that people always complain that they never come through certain streets, they don't go here. So I took the opportunity to go through those streets to identify like what are some of the reasons, right? So some of the issues are on some of the tighter streets, the big trucks can't really go through those streets, and or you're parking on the corner, the truck, when it's trying to move with the blades, it will destroy cars. So if there's going to be a snowstorm, just a recommendation to the administration that we can send an alert out. So a robocall to the community. If you're a very narrow street, that what needs to happen is that we don't park on the corners, right? Or that we work with some of these, as I recommended, some of these agreements with like parking lots, some of the supermarkets, some of the churches, wherever, that we can do an agreement with them and do some off-street parking, especially for these dead-end streets, the small narrow streets. I think that would be beneficial because a lot of the trucks cannot. I saw it myself before the big storm. I saw it at the other storm, and I did like a little walkthrough on that. And then I said the off-street parking. So that way with the snow removal, when you're, it's like off-street parking. So on this at this time, we say since the 6 areas, 17 different routes, based on the 6 areas and 17 different routes, let's create strategically a plan based on that to say, these are the areas. There should be also a plan for dead-end streets only, right? Because I saw a lot of complaints on dead-end streets that were not touched. So, Director, if we can identify all the small, narrow dead-end streets, and can we create a plan specifically for the small dead-end streets? I think whether it's a small truck, whether we send an alert to those addresses to let them know we're coming on your street at this time, can you move your cars, or whatever needs to be done to make out there trying to get, everybody's calling and all this stuff. So just some recommendations that I wanted to provide. I sent them in email form as well, and I just wanted to put it openly out because I won't be able to stay on. I need to get to a funeral, so I wanted to bring it forward. There, of course, we can all talk about the concerns. We can talk about everything. It's really about strategically putting together a plan of action, right? Dead-end streets, small, narrow streets. We still have a lot of streets, even now. Maybe we can do that. The streets that were 2 ways that are now 1 ways, and maybe the off-street parking could work temporarily for that. So just some recommendations.
Councilwoman, I know you have a million ideas, and we all want to hear it, but do you mind that you could continue after the public portion, since I announced it for 6 o'clock, 6:10, but good stuff though. I know that the director will need to answer your questions. Go ahead, Director.
I want to talk double parking issues on dead-end streets. It's notorious. It's hard. People in dead-end streets feel that they have the privilege of double parking because there's no outlet on the other side. And that's a hassle for us. Even if it's a big street, if it's a dead end, that's still a hassle. We've had a meeting earlier with the fire department, with talking about utilizing our EOC functions even better. We do have a great communication with the police department and fire department. We call, they're right out there. It's just like I said, this storm, to get a cop to respond to a corner that's double parked, or a car that's on the corner, it was just time consuming to get the officer there.
So Director, can you if you could provide the list of those dead-end streets, that could be a part of the discussion with the joint meeting we're having with the school district on Wednesday, just as some options or alternative solutions. But if we can identify those streets, then we can use it to put together a viable solution, or to try to strategically help you plan so that we can.
We definitely talked about that earlier, about doing an ordinance for when snow's coming, or a snow amount, please don't park on the street, or be told. We talked about that.
So Director, that's a great idea, but part of the joint meeting that we're gonna have, I don't know if you mentioned it, Councilwoman, but, we're gonna have to talk to the schools also, like, they could open up, clean up their parking lots and let everybody park in there. That way it will facilitate, the cleanup around the schools, and hopefully, this is something that always gets talked on. We always speak about this, even when I was a commissioner. But all I've said is not who said it and when they said it. Actions need to be taken and get it done. That's all I'm about. I'm not about, I said it in 2005. Doesn't matter. Let's get it done. That's when the public actually benefit from our decisions. So we also want to speak to them about possibly using those plows, right, Councilwoman Mims?
Yeah.
We have this conversation all the time, even when we were commissioners. All we want to do is assist, our DPW department, because it's all about services to the residents. It doesn't matter how it gets done. The bottom line is it needs to get done. We deserve the same services as everybody else in other municipalities, if not better. So at this time, we're going to go to the public portion.
So, right, we're in this together.
Correct.
The city, and we just want to make sure that everybody, that's the image.
So we'll continue the meeting, but we're going to give the courtesy now to the public to speak, and then we'll go back to our discussion. Sure. Also, and so, also it's about educating, right? Educating our community. look at Passaic, right? People there don't put chairs anymore, or if they do, the mayor does a press, does a Facebook Live, start picking up all the chairs. People start learning, Are we ready, Madam Clerk?
Did he do it this time, Council President? Did he do it himself?
I don't know if he did, but he done it in the past.
Okay. I think there's a lot of people didn't do that here.
First speaker is on, Council President.
Sure.
First speaker, will you state your name and address for the record?
We can't hear them.
Oh,
First speaker, will you state your name and address, please? We seem to be having some technical issues. Tell Ryan we can't hear him, please. He's not. It's right, it's not reading anymore, it's not live. Just give us a minute, please. Let's go to the next speaker, Council President. Until that one before.
Hi, how you doing?
Okay, will you,
Hello?
yes, good evening. Will you please speak
Hi,
and address for the record?
good evening, my name is Christina Concepcion. Address is 582 Josh Road, East 31st Street, Paterson, New Jersey.
Thank you.
As a homeowner, city resident for a long time, I am like literally just want to sell and this move. This is so sad what our residents, homeowners are going through. All this focusing on the downtown area where the stores are at, and I think that should all be last. People are not going to go shop in the snowstorm. Hit the streets where homeowners have to go to work for their families, where there's a lot of disabled people that can't even get out. It's sad. Hit the local streets where homeowners are paying so much taxes. Our taxes are going up, and we're not getting nothing done in our own street. My street is East 31st, and the 161 bus was using my block just to get in and out once the snow stops. I had calling the mayor and letting them know my street is a busy street. It's a business street. It's just non-stop trucks and buses coming down the street because of the snow, and it's not passable. This street is a two-way street, and it's literally a one-way street now. We only have 3 houses here. We have businesses, trucks. Not even one DPW truck came down my street. My street has blacktop because of the Advanced Automotive owner. He cleaned it with his truck. With his little truck he got, he came and cleaned to just make it passable, just one lane. But it's so sad that, we live next to 230. Schools have plows. Get these plows from the school district to clean up local streets. If there was school open, kids have to walk. They should clean those areas also. If the city only has 33 trucks working, why we cannot use the school plows? Like, it doesn't make no sense. And this is not the first storm that the city of Paterson is going through this. This should have already been fixed a long time ago. There's so many council members that have been on that seat for a long time. If you've been through so many snowstorms, like, come on, things have to be done. I called today and still, not even, the mayor said, oh, DPW came down my street. No, they did not. They never came down my street, not even once. I have cameras. I have freaking 50 cameras in my house. that I can see everybody who passes down my street, and not even one DPW truck ever came down my block. And it's still a one-way street. Two cars cannot come down. This is so sad. And then y'all keep bringing taxes up on homeowners, and we're the ones who have to go out and work, and we can't get in and out. It's so sad. It's really, really sad what the city is going through.
More, yeah. Council President? Oh, he stepped away. Okay.
Madam Clerk, do we have any more speakers?
Yes, we have 2 more callers and 5 voicemails.
Next, speaker, Madam Clerk.
Give us a minute. Next speaker, please, Ryan. Will you please state your name and address for the record?
Hi, Wahida Muhammad, 69 Straight Street. I'm calling because I just want to say, I know we're going through a tough time in Paterson, but it seems that we continually blame DPW for the catastrophes. I mean, if we could see, and I see these men and women out there that are trying their ever-loving best to do the best job they can for this city, but if they don't have the equipment to do what they need to do, then who's responsible for that? I mean, there's a lot of things, there's enough blame to go around. When they come down, especially down by the center, just to try to move the snow so we could get the food truck there. We had people that were so mad because they moved the snow, they went and put snow in front of our pantry door just for the meanness. I mean, it's so sad that we don't try to do things to stick together. Like the lady was saying about putting the cars somewhere or putting them in a parking lot so they can come down. Because if they come down there and tap your doggone car, then you still gonna be mad. So if they're not able to get through those streets because cars are on both sides and snow is up to your behind, then what are they supposed to do? So I think too, to try, one person said to me today, well, why couldn't they put some of the snow like they did one year? They scooped the snow up and put it on some of the empty lots that Paterson owned. I don't know why they couldn't do that, because a lot of it, I guess, has been sold now, so they don't have nowhere to put it. And also, but the idea of being able to park the cars in the school parking lots so that the trucks can come through, because we have to make it easier for them to do their job rather than just trying to complain about it. And I really thank them for all the hard work that they do trying to make it better. But we all have to take some ownership. Because if your car is parked in the way and they can't get through there, and if they come through and tap your car, then you're going to talk even more about them. So let's see what it is that we can all do together. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Next speaker.
You have one more speaker? Council President, we only have messages right now.
Okay, so after the next speaker, since we don't have any other speakers, then we will close after the next one.
He's going to put on the messages first and then we close.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Damaso Minier. I live in 438 East 32nd. Right, they're going on Clinic Street. And they more traffic in my house. We need to clean the house, clean the street. Nosotros necesitamos que limpien las calles cuando neva. Pagamos demasiado taxes en esta ciudad para eso. Y ya no piensa subir otra vez. Cumplan con eso, que los taxes no son redondos. El dinero.
Next message.
Yes, my name is Dave Cox. I reside at 246 Freakness Avenue, Paterson. And I was just kind of looking at some things on Facebook, and I'm kind of calling to dispute the comments that were made on Facebook, because I think the city of Paterson did a very good job compared to the neighboring towns around us. I'm a truck driver, and I drive out in Clifton, I drive in Woodland Park, Totowa, Prospect Park, I drive all over Bergen County, and I just think we did a fairly good job with the snow removal compared to the congestion, how congested the city of Paterson is compared to other surrounding cities with off-street parking. And so my comment is, I just think we did a fairly good job. So I dispute the comments. So if we all could work together, man, and get past this, it was a great deal of snow. I don't think no one expected that much snow to fall in that period of time. But thumbs up to Paterson. Good job, DPW. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gregory Glover. I'm the president for Local 2272. I'm calling on behalf of my members of DPW. For the past 3 days, they have been out here working to get the snow removed, and the insults that we're getting from the residents are not welcome, because we're out here doing our job, and they're not even helping us. They're making it worse enough for the snow back in the ground. But we will continue to work and get these streets clean. So we would appreciate it if you guys would help us out by not throwing the snow back in the middle of the ground. So once again, this is the President Gregory Glover from Local 2272, speaking on behalf of my members of DPW. Have a good day.
Council President, if I may, I'm told there are a number of people trying to get in, so they would like us to repeat the numbers again. Would you allow that?
Sure.
So for those who want to participate in the public portion, please dial 973-321-1579, enter code, press star 1. For those who want to leave a recorded comment, star 2. And if you want to be added to speak in the queue, press star 3. Again, the dial number is 973-321-1579. Meeting code is 8326.
Three more messages, so we'll continue with the messages. Sorry.
Council President, I am told there are 3 more recorded messages. Should we continue with those?
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
How you doing? My name is Mark. I'm calling because the street that I live on in Paterson, I live close to, I live on North York Street in that area. The area was very hard to drive on. It seems like it didn't get plowed at all. Fortunately for me, I was I work at a hospital and it's out of town, and they kept me at a hotel. I didn't come home until Friday. And by Friday, it still was hard to come down the street. I was sliding on down the street. I know you guys are stretched thin with your resources, but They have to try to do a better job because it's dangerous. Like people are coming down the street, they're sliding, they're almost hitting parked cars. Like it's just not safe. It's just not. But the UPS truck got stuff coming down here. There's no way a UPS truck should get stuff coming down here. I just feel like as a whole, it needs to be a better job done. I know you guys are trying your best, but I think we need to focus more on the side blocks, like the little, like I know Broadway, Madison Ave, the main streets are well, but there's a lot of other streets that just look like they're untouched. Thank you.
Snow in the street, but with 24 inches of snow and being plowed in, where else is the snow supposed to go? You can't put it back on the sidewalk. You can't pack it up in front and back of a vehicle when you have other vehicles in the front and in the back of you. So where's all this snow supposed to go? Why is it that DPW can't come up with some type of snow removal to get the snow off the street? Have people park their cars in supermarkets and schools and wherever you can fit them on certain days, as other towns have been doing, to get the snow off the ground. Yes, my name is Michelle Payton. I live in the Riverside section of Paterson. My husband has fibrosis of his lungs. I'm asking many people have homebound for COVID vaccination. I've called Border Health, I've called everywhere, even the state. Somebody has to give these shots to the homebound people. My number is 973-704-0134. I'd appreciate if somebody can get back to me and give me some information pertaining to that. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dinata Midnight. I'm calling from 37 Sherman Avenue. I live in the corner of Henry Street and Sherman Avenue, and Henry Street is still not even clean yet until today. I just want to ask questions to DPW director. What is going on? And it's a disaster. Every time there is a snowstorm like this, we see those slow actions from the DPW. It's a failure, and it's such a shame. And if we look at other cities like Woodland Park, Ottawa, or Prospect Park, they have started already moving those snows on the street, and yet we haven't seen any of those actions. It's fully covered with snow. Please take actions on it. And also one more request. There was a stop sign proposal on Henry Street and Sherman Avenue corner. It was passed by Councilman Gilman Chowdhury, and still we haven't seen the stop sign in there. Please and thank you.
Madam President, I'm told we have 5 more callers.
Next caller, Madam Clerk.
Give us a minute, please.
Hi, Dina Garcia, Montgomery area. Let me start with, I don't understand how everyone points fingers at DPW. My husband works for DPW. He's been with the city 15 years. My husband has not been home in 3 days working round the clock. He has not come home to take a shower because he's on the clock removing snow, plowing. So everybody points fingers at DPW. No one says, oh, let's make sure these men get their breaks, get home to their families safe. Get in the car and drive their ward with one of these drivers during one of these snowstorms so they can see what's going on in these streets. Everyone likes to bash them. They get on Facebook, right down to councilmen, get on Facebook and bash what DPW is doing. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to their families that we're sitting I'm wondering, did they eat? Do they have warm clothes? Are these streets safe enough for them to get down themselves? Another thing, not only that, they're out here all these hours straight. They're underpaid. Half of these men are in the back of these trucks swinging for $14, $15 an hour. Minimum wage is $12. My 17-year-old daughter works at McDonald's making $12 an hour. You got these men out here all types of hours for pennies. And then everybody wants to bash them. Where are they? Why aren't they driving these trucks? Why is they driving with the plow up? They could only do but so much. They need to get wrapped on the roads. So if we're gonna be a one Paterson, let's everybody get together and do this together instead of bashing each other.
Next caller, will you state your name and address for the record, please?
Hello, my name is Patty McCracken. I'm with 378 Delaware Avenue.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. To the last caller, we are grateful for your husband and the work that he's done. There's some questions I have. So I've been living in Paterson for nearly 20 years, and something I've noticed is there just doesn't seem to be any coordination. We seem to react instead of plan for. A couple things. One, potential for cars to be removed from the streets and so that the workers can get that. Can we use alternative or street cleaning days? So, for instance, on my street, street cleaning days are Wednesday and Friday. If when on that side, so that we can come down with trucks and front loaders or whatever is needed to get the 18,000 feet of snow off the street, and then there's actually room for parking, so we don't need to put like the garbage cans and the brooms and stuff like that in the way. C, can DPW go down after the cars have all dug out? So I know folks keep complaining that snow is being thrown into the street. So it's a really good question of where on earth are you supposed to put the snow when there's so much snow? So what does it look like for DPW to go back out and kind of re-clean the streets? I know it's frustrating for them because they've been working so hard, but we do need some sort of plan because there really is limited space to put the snow. Because we do have so many folks in the city who are dependent upon street parking. I do think there needs to be some sort of coordinated effort, and if we can communicate with the city just like we communicated with the city, and some sort of coordinated effort so that we're ready as a city so we're not stuck and having these horrible circumstances that we've been having every time there's more than 6 inches of snow.
Caller, please state your name and address for the record. Next caller, please.
Hi, my name is Julie Pagan. I'm on 59 Sherman Avenue in Paterson. I'm calling not only because of what's going on with the snow plowing, but also about sheltering in front of people's homes. What is being done for that? There's people walking, you can't walk on the street because there's so much snow, but you can't even walk on the sidewalk. Even for public buildings. What is going on with the shoveling of the snow? The corners, you see people, elderly people, slipping and sliding in front of people's homes. It's not shoveled. And it's, what's this day? 4th day, 5th day already? Everything should be clean, at least in front of people's homes and in front of stores. What is going on? Is there inspectors going out? They should be. There should be inspectors going out, giving tickets for this. Not only can't walk on the street, because the snow is covering half the snow, so the cars have to get through. I would like to know if there's any accidents going on. I know I see the cars. So what's being done with that? This happens every time. You also have to get into the owners. Thank you.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Enrique Garcia. Hello?
Go ahead, please. State your name and address, please.
Les Garcia, 79-93 Montgomery Street. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead, please.
Supervisor, DPW Streets and Roads. I usually don't do this thing, but I'm really getting fed up with the bashing DPW thing and councilmen bashing us, and we're not doing our job. I've been in DPW 15 years, been a supervisor 4 years, and plowed all night for 3 days straight. Minute break just to drink some coffee or something and jump right back because our director needed us back out there. He wanted us out there, no ifs, ands, or buts. I think we got the greatest director in the state of New Jersey. Maybe you don't see it like that, but we do. I do, anyway. It's just I'm tired of the bashing. If you think you can do this job, maybe you should jump on the plow and do a route. I don't think you'll last 1 day, 1 hour on a plow. It's not an easy job, especially with 2 feet of snow. I could see if it was 4 inches, you could have bashed us to the ground and nailed us to the ground. But this was 2 feet of snow. No way in the world we was ready. Yes, the councilman Flavio gave us the 3 new trucks, but this is Paterson. We got 160,000 residents in Paterson. We need more equipment. If you go to Eastside Park and see what we got working with, your mouth might fall down. You got to see what we got because everything is wear and tear. Even though the truck is brand new, the belt wears and tear, the rubber on the ground wears and tear from all that grinding on the street. We was out there. I got the Eastside area. I got the Manor section, and I got from 42nd Street to 35th. I was up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Today I was up and down. I just don't understand why they keep bashing them. All it takes is a phone call. Can you do this street? Can you do that street? Can you do? It's a favor. I know Councilman Mims. I know Ruby Cotton. I know Marissa Davila. I know Al. You don't know me no more since you became councilman. But all it takes is a phone call. Can you go through this street? Not bashes on Facebook that we doing something wrong. Just call one of us and I'll be more than glad to help you myself. All you have to do is make a phone call. And we have no problem going over there, myself and all my colleagues. I had no problem going over there. I love to do this. I've been here 15 years. Nobody gave me a gold spoon in my mouth. I raised myself up. I started here at $9 an hour. For nothing. I worked my way up. I earned it. And I feel as though DPW should get more respect than what we get. We grown men at the end of the day. We ain't no little kids. We grown men. We a family in DPW.
How many more speakers, Madam Clerk?
2 more speakers, Council President.
Thank you.
Next speaker, will you please state your name and address for the record?
Charmaine Scott, 226 East 30th Street.
Go ahead, please.
First, I want to say thank you to DPW. They've definitely been up and down my street since before the snow started falling, even up until today. So really, I just want to touch on some concerns that I have. Another caller spoke on this, but possibly removing the snow on scheduled streets street cleaning days. It was a lot of snow. We moved the snow to the curb. We didn't put it back in the street. But what was very frustrating for me personally was coming back out on Wednesday morning and having my car now covered with new snow because the plow came while after we had already shoveled out initially. Also, people putting things in the spot once it has been dug out. I'm not originally from Paterson, but I've been here for the last 20 years. I just think that some guidance needs to come from the city that this is not okay. I've seen fights break out. I've seen police calls. This is not something that needs to happen or should be happening. And also my two-way street has now become a one-way street because, the snow is blocking part of each lane. And I get it. We definitely had a tremendous amount of snow. I just think the city itself has to come up with a better plan of removing snow when we get such a large amount. And in closing, again, thank you to DPW for working so tirelessly. We definitely do appreciate that. Thank you.
Next speaker, please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Willie Sparks. I live at 19 Allen Street in Paterson, New Jersey, and I'm a city employee for the Department of Public Works. I also drive a truck, and I want to commend the mayor and also the director of Public Works, William Rodriguez, and the supervisors, and also my co-workers. We were out there all throughout the night for the past 5 days, plowing each and every day, like 8 hours. We'll plow, rest for 15, get up, do it again. We put a lot of effort into the job that we do and what we have to do. But when it's a state of emergency and the residents don't comply with the state of emergency and they out there driving vehicles, have no regard for the snowplow, jumping in front of the snowplow, double park, things of that nature, there's going to be accidents out there. It wasn't no casualties. Hopefully no one passed away. We try to deal with so-called primary roads as far as ambulance, fire department, police department, getting to where they have to get to. We did everything that we can within our power to keep the roadways clear for the residents. But at the same time, when you plow the street, the residents can't throw snow back into the street. We're plowing to the car. From their car, they put it to the curb or on the front part of their lawn, in front of their house or their residence, whatever it is. So we weren't getting any help from the residents. We got a lot of backlash, a lot of name calling, things of that nature. We're not working together just as the city, the Department of Public Works and residents of Paterson. They expect 2 feet of snow to be gone. Just like the supervisor said, there's 160,000 people in Paterson. 75% of them have motor vehicles. So we have everybody was warned and well aware of the storm that was coming in. But they chose to be out there. And I know this has been a tough year with the pandemic and the COVID-19 and everything. You have to sit back. We pre-sorted the whole thing down so fast, so quick. People were outside breaking day all, from Sunday to Tuesday. Cars stayed out there. So it was like it was no state of emergency, nothing. Business as normal, as usual. And I would just want to say, us as a team at the Department of Public Works, we went out there and really did a great job, being the 3rd largest city in the state of New Jersey. And you can't get no better than that. And other townships can't handle what we handle. They're not built like us. The city's not big enough for them, where they live at. So I want to say, Mayor Sayara, William Rodriguez, Manny Judah, Steve Howe, and the supervisors and my co-workers, thumbs up. You can't get it no better than this. Thanks a lot.
Council President, that's it for the public.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call to close the public portion. Councilman Abdelaziz?
I'll never forget Mess. Come on, Mess. Counselor or not counselor, I won't forget you, man. My vote is yes.
Councilwoman Cotton?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just need to say to the council members and to the community out there, I cannot stay on it much longer. My dear friend passed away. Her name is Dorothy Dudley. I need to go to her funeral. I need to go there. But I will say that I have plenty of ideas that I can share with everyone. I remember back in the 1980s, and I'll be quick, in 1986, my husband was DPW director. So, you know what? Back there in the 80s and the 90s, we had some storms. Nothing what we have now. We had some storms. And like someone said that, and it's about each of us working together, and we all got ideas, and I want to share my ideas with our new DPW chair, our council president, our vice council president, and even our director. There were things that that we could have done that we needed to do, and we need to try to do our best to do that. For the next storm, because I can tell you, we had some storms, and I can tell you that it was not easy, but we all chipped in, we all worked together, we all made sure that it was possible. So I want to share my ideas and some of the things. Just one thing I just want to say, I think Director Rodriguez, I'm pretty sure we use a contractor since 2010. I don't see those trucks was out there anytime between 2010 and now. But thank you, everyone there at home watching. Thank you for calling in, telling us all your concerns. We all had concerns. We all was worried about each of us. We all was worried. So I cannot stay on. I need to go to my dear friend's funeral. I need to go to her funeral. So you all, Madam Clerk, thank you, everyone, to my council colleagues, BA, Corporation Council. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davila?
Thank you very much. Before I vote, I as well, as we started the meeting at 5:30, I did make the statement that I do have a commitment at 7 o'clock, which is really important. And, just from hearing the public today, what I need to just say is that it seems as though, and I don't know what impression was given out there, that the DPW workers were being bashed. I, for one, can just say that, that was not so. I think the message was about the plan, not about the employees. And the second thing that I would say is that, when speaking on social media and, employees of the city are referring to the council as us bashing, I would really want names, because I, for one, can only say this, and I stand on what I said. I received a robocall from our mayor stating that everything was under control, and when I look outside and I see, 15 inches of snow and I take a picture, you can't say everything's under control when we find out through other measures that, certain trucks were broken down and, we were not informed. So my message is this, and it's very clear. It's about working together. It's about that plan before the plan before the plan. And I told the director directly, I have great communication with him. There has to be a plan A, B, C, and that emergency plan that sometimes needs to come in, which is that D. And unfortunately, we can't say that this was a great job. I'm sorry, I will not say that this was a great job. Better, but I can say that we, and I can stand and I, was not bad. Work that was being done, but I also saw a lot of things that could have been done better. And yes, certain council members were able to drive behind, trucks just to see what the routes were like. Others were out there with their Facebook lives. That's all great. Everyone manages differently. All right. I appreciate Council President. You're making a face. You can't be a poker player. You know that, Council President? You can't be a poker player. But I want to thank Council President for putting this meeting together, speaking to the DPW chair as the vice chair. All I say is that there was supposedly a plan, but I don't think that the plan was executed the way it should have been. And yes, this is not the first time that the city of Paterson has gotten a 25-inch storm, all right? And so for those callers that called, for our constituency, I can say I apologize, as a council. We want to make sure that our workers do have the necessary tools, and I think that that's what we've been doing when we have our budget meetings, to make sure that your directors are letting us know what is needed through the administration and then presenting it to us. So, Council President, thank you very much. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes to close the public portion.
Thank you, Councilwoman Davila. Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Interesting enough, I'm so happy today that, some of our city residents, because I think we often forget that a lot of these, our employees for DPW are residents first. They have to live here. They have to experience some of the conditions and circumstances that we all have to live through. So when we have people who are quick or forget or possibly don't even understand what the ramifications at the mouth, so some of the people have enough courage to stand forward and not take that. I've said it a few weeks ago, where I felt that the job that the director was doing in unfairly targeting the DPW department and talking about their lack of assertiveness in doing their job. And somebody couldn't have said it any better. I would love to see some of these critics get out here and and lead by example, because they wouldn't know their way to figure their way out of a paper bag, let alone be able to decipher and understand some of the challenges that we're presented with. The equipment that these gentlemen are forced to work with is old and decrepit. Now, we would all have to equally acknowledge that could the job have been done better? Of course. But we also have to consider what the conditions are that we're expecting these gentlemen and these young ladies to work under. And the young lady who called with regard to her family member, her husband out there, is a perfect example. These men are out there working tirelessly, putting their personal family time, their lives on the line, while we have people recklessly driving around, passing around, unwarranted commentary of which areas that they don't have any expertise. And this is a common practice right now amongst this council and members of the administration. Another example of that is how we want to direct people who have medical licenses and how they should be administering medical services to the community. People who have no idea of the areas in which they're speaking about. So I'm happy that these members of the public, not only city employees, but members of the public, had an opportunity to chime in and talk about specifically, by name and by name, and I appreciate that. By saying, yeah, Councilman Abdelaziz, you don't even know me anymore. And of course I know you. No, because some people get to a certain title and believe that they've become something more than what they actually are. And this is an example of why our community is in the condition that it's in. So with that being said, as opposed to putting the onus of where it is, we want to put the blame on the low-hanging fruit, point out the areas where there's no backlash, while we're cutting deals with the mayor and the administration that's detrimental to the public. That's what's going on here. So instead of talking about the lack of equipment and the lack of presence, where was the BA during this snowstorm? Where was the mayor? Where were they? Were they out there doing? People want to talk about council members should be following trucks around. Where are the people who are actually tasked with the condition or with the job to do? And with that being said, I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how this council is going to respond. And I'm hoping it's not more hot air and pontificating and talking about ideas, because that's not the job. We have yet to hold this administration accountable. Yet, this administration has made so many detrimental decisions that are costing our community, and this is just another reflection of that. So, with that being said, Madam Clerk, I'll rest for now. And we appreciate the work that you do, and often, because it's not a matter of patting someone on the back or kissing, or ass kissing for that matter, but it is a matter of respect. And I think there's a great deal of people who hold these seats and who hold positions within the public sector here and have forgotten that there's a necessity for respect. And I would like to remind everyone, not just members of this municipal council, but also members of the public. Over the weekend, there was a shooting in Pennsylvania where a neighbor decided, through his frustration, to take his frustration out on his neighbors, and he took the lives of 2 neighbors who lived across the street from him because there was a lack of respect that was being given. And unfortunately, 3 people lost their lives because there was people who didn't understand that there's a necessity for respect. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman Jackson. Councilman Khalid?
I am lost of words. I'm confused. We need to be honest with each other. Here's the thing. We are not bashing the DPW workers or DPW employees.
Correct.
We need to be honest. It was a poor planning. I don't know where the director got the weather report from with 4 inches and 6 inches. What I have been watching, there is a big storm coming in. There should have been a plan A. And another thing, Mr. Garcia called saying he's been working for 3 days. Since I've been listening to this meeting, we had 8 vehicles down. That means we have extra 8 employees. Why is he working 3 days straight, 24 hours a day? What is the other employee doing since we have three, where is that supervision there? Where is the planning there? So there's no way he should be working 24 hours a day, 3 days straight. He's liable to the city for his health as well. And I just found 3 extra employees, 8 extra employees right there. I know you're shaking head, Director, but that's how I see it. And also, in the second one, there's a 3 routes: Hillcrest, Totowa, Stony Hill. I drove around the whole 3 routes. Hillcrest was fine. Soon as you come to Totowa section of the second one, I sent you pictures, Director. I even emailed the administration. Even the second day, most of the street were unplowed. So where is the planning? I did not even see the trucks out there. I'm hearing everybody's out there working. I understand that, but I didn't see anybody out there. Then you give us a time by 5 o'clock. I read it on the news. By 5 o'clock, every street should be done. Even the following day. Some of the streets still didn't get plowed. Some of the streets got plowed today. So I'm really confused with where do we stand? It is the job of the DPW, job of the administration, to make a plan for this kind of situation when we get in. And if you don't have the trucks, I thought we are all fully equipped for the snowstorm. We have the trucks, we have the salt, we have everything, we have the employees. We cannot compare ourselves to neighboring city, Prospect Park. I understand they're a small city. That's why they have 60 PW workers. We are third largest city. We probably have 300, 400 employees? Whatever number, we have more than them. So we should be able to take care of our own. That's what I'm gonna say. There gotta be a plan. That's all, and the administration has failed. And you know it, I know it, there's something missing. We gotta come to the truth. There gotta be some kind of miscommunication or something going on within the department. Probably some employees that didn't show up. Hey, you gotta let us know. Hey, this is exactly what happened. So we don't try to blame on you. Something going on inside that we need to, as a public, residents, as a council member, I need to know as well. Something is going on. That's all. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before my comment, I just would like to say that I know how it feels to be out there driving around. I spent on Tuesday night, I was in my block on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, waiting for a DPW crew to go around the third ward because the Riverside section, it was undrivable. I was stuck on Tuesday night. I think that we got to be very careful. I hear some comment about some employees say that we bash into the department. No, it's not. But we got to talk about what's going on. We got to be responsible with our taxpayers. If there's a problem, we got to talk about the problem. We got to find solution to the problem. And I will say that it was not the department that failed. It was the administration that failed big. I hear the director frustration Tuesday night when I told him, listen, I'm stuck on East 19. I cannot even move. And the whole Riverside section is undrivable. And he explained to me, he told me, Mendez, Councilman, the truck got broke down. We don't have anybody in that section. And we wait until 9 o'clock, and with Supervisor Michael Jackson, we worked for 4 hours. And I say that we worked because I was behind the truck. The two equipment cleaning is 19, it's 21, it's 22nd, it's 23rd, it's 24th, it's 25th, it's 27, it's 29. And we finished around midnight. And the director is there, and Supervisor Michael Jackson knows, because we finish around midnight. That's not my job. I'm a legislator. But I care about this community, and I know that there is a problem. Now, Director, we really have to talk to you directly, because very often time I always tell you, Director, I want you to tell me what is missing on the department. I don't want to hear from the administration, because you are the expert. And the reason why I say that the administration failed big on this is because it's the administration's responsibility to put an effective plan together to help the department. How? We got the parking authority. Why we don't have a shared services agreement with the parking authority to make sure that every car to use the parking authority, all the different spots to allow the resident to park there, because we were waiting for this storm. That's one of the recommendations. The parking authority, we gotta take all those parking off the road. On east side, my east side district on the third ward, I'm looking forward to utilize the east side park to allow all the residents to park on east side park and not have any cars around, to make sure the department do the work that they have to do. But there have to be a plan. There's have to be shared services agreement in place. And that's not the director's responsibility. That's the administration responsibility. So something is missing. Now, an additional company have to come in place to support us when we have this type of situation. We gotta have contract company online waiting for. A truck got broke down. We didn't have any replacement. And I could talk about Riverside section, but not only that, the lady that called for East 31st, East 31st, East 32nd, East 38, one section of East 33rd, East 34. Yesterday afternoon, I was there waiting for them to come in because it was undrivable at that time. We just want to get the job done for the resident of the city of Paterson, and we need to understand that. So my whole point is that it's not the director to put the plan together only. It's the administration that have to make sure that they get the right plan to provide the service that the taxpayer needed. I spent those hours with Michael Jackson around the city, around the third ward, all the Riverside section, and then we went to the other side of the third ward. After midnight, I stayed until close to 1 o'clock in the street. It's my job now. It's not my job. I'm not a DPW employee, but I care about this community. And I know all the DPW employees, they also care, but they have to be a plan behind. There's a lot of sections that were well taken care of, but other sections not. The reason why I started this meeting asking about the route, it's because I think that as a council member, I would like to know, and as a third ward councilman, I would like to know how this is work. In my view, Director, the third ward has 13 districts. If we have a map, there's a map, if we assign a driver with a map in 1 or 2 districts, that driver's responsibility is gonna be around that section. It will be easy for the department to be on top of that, and if there's a need to assist that driver with other resources, and I definitely need to have a conversation because I would like to understand how all those routes work. Now, the gentleman that called that worked for DPW as well, and I do agree with Councilman Shahin Khalid, having a person for 3 days straight working is not safe. That's a liability to the city. And that's very responsible for the administration as well. There's got to be a plan in place. I'm very happy to hear that we're going to have a conversation with Paterson Public School. Paterson Public School have paid truck, and they've been talking about that for days and days. The taxpayer paid $50 million a year to the Paterson Public School District. Why we don't use those trucks to clean the surrounding area of the school? It's not rocket science. Now, that's not the director's responsibility. That's the mayor's responsibility to call Paterson Public School and let them know, listen, we need your parking lot. We need your truck to come outside and clean the surrounding area of the school. Call Tony Perez, the director of the parking authority. Director, we need all the parking lot open. We need residents to use the parking lot to leave the street open for us, the DPW team, to go out and clean those sites. That's what I call plan. That's what I call shared services agreement. There's no gold removal machine that Councilwoman Lisa May was talking about. We gotta include that in this capital plan because we gotta have that equipment in place. Paterson is the 3rd largest city in the state of New Jersey, and we gotta make sure that this department get the equipment that they need. But we gotta have that conversation. We gotta have an open dialogue because at the end, we all are here to serve Paterson. On East 23rd and 6th Avenue, you will hear this very soon. There was a lady around 65 years old. She broke her leg in 3 parts because there was so much ice on the road that she couldn't maneuver. She fell, she broke her leg, the ambulance was there. Those are the kind of situations that we try to avoid. And that happened Tuesday at night. I went out with Michael Jackson and 3 other members of the DPW department. We still until midnight. I passed by Councilwoman Large Mins that her road was like very difficult. But as a legislator, I need to know what is missing in the department because I will fight for you, and I will never allow an employee to work for 3 days straight because that's really a liability. That person needs to rest in order to be effective. And this is the administration responsibility to talk about those plans. And it's very irresponsible from the mayor to go out and say, oh, by 5 p.m., all the roads are going to be clean. That's a lie. You lied to Paterson. Why you do that? That's very irresponsible. When the director is still frustrated because he doesn't have, I guess, enough equipment, and he's still, yesterday, there was a conversation. Della Fisher, I sent Della like about 20 to 30 different addresses. He's 32nd, 33rd, 34th, 35th, and that was what, yesterday afternoon. And they passed by those streets yesterday night. So there is yesterday night, at the end of the day, they passed by. So there is a problem. We have a lot of employees from DPW working around the clock, and that's not good for us. They could get into any accident.
Councilman, we're going to continue with the meeting. I don't mean to interrupt you, but
I'm just gonna close on this before my vote. Yeah, I just want to close. I'm here to work with the department and find out what is missing. We got to continue that conversation because there's another storm coming, and we got to see a different plan. But not for you, director only. We have a mayor that is responsible to work with the team and see what is the need of the department to supply and make sure that we got the team ready to go. My vote is yes, Councilman. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mendez. Councilwoman Mims?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And so, Council President, and I want to go back to the public, I have to run out just right after my comments and my vote. I'm on my way as well to an amazing woman, Ms. Dartley Dudley. Tonight is her viewing. And so I will be running out of the meeting. It's not that I don't think it's important, because it is, but as after I comment and vote, I will be going to that funeral, which ends at 8 o'clock, but I gotta drive carefully. So coming on to this meeting, as you know, DPW, I reached out, I've sent a lot of requests, I've emailed, and all of my requests, you took them. I was out there as well. There's different ways that some people communicate. Some people communicate through email, texts. Some of us are out there. We're boots on the ground, so we're physically in the community. Some people do Facebook Live. But I just believe as a council person, our residents, they want to be able to hear from you. They wanted you to respond. They want to see you. And there's so many different things to that. There were some things that were said. I'm not going to go into some of the pontification that was going on tonight. From some aspects, I will not even address it, because as far as coming on almost 3 years in, I can definitely say I remember in budget hearings, which I've been in every single budget hearing, didn't miss one of them. I remember Council President Rivera talking about putting in place a capital improvement plan. And based on that being put in place within the last 2.5, almost 3 years ago, that is how DPW has gotten equipment. We've only been here that short time, and based on that recommendation, so we can't talk about what has not been done prior to the 3 years we were here. I can speak to the fact that Council President made that recommendation, and I'm sure DPW, I see them shaking their head, that was done, and we voted on it to ensure that a lot of equipment. Do they still need equipment? Absolutely. All you gotta do is go to their garages, go and check. They still need a lot of equipment, and as they continue to provide that and the recommendations, we're more than happy to support the recommendations, because we know there's a lot of needs. We really appreciate the hard work. We know it's hard work. It was a major storm, and we've been out there with the residents and apologizing and all that. I gave some recommendations. I previously emailed them, and I also mentioned them on tonight, which I'm sure, Kathleen, you have them already, but I want to add 2 more. And this is from one of our residents, to add to develop a strategy for the hills. When it comes to certain hills like Temple Hill, all those hills, can we work with our police department to block off the hills so no one can go up or down to avoid the accidents and stuff that we've had? Put in place a plan with our police department until we can brine and salt and get it to a place where there are no other issues on the hill. So at the start of it, let's block off the hill so people could go do the roundabout. That's a strategy for the hills. Also, in addition to the other things that I've identified, can we put in place, Madam BA, we can look and identify local contractors within the city of Paterson. We can put them in place for seasonal opportunities to help with the snow removal, possibly on some of the smaller streets, with the dead end and all the different things, so it can help with the work of what DPW is doing. But if we identify some of our local contractors, they can assist. So it's not like they're taking the work away. They are in place to assist the work of what is already being done. In addition to all of my other recommendations, I've sent it, I will resend it. I've already, to our community, I've put them on Facebook, so you'll know that this is something that I made recommendation for. And my prayer is that the administration will take heed to these recommendations. We will get some sort of plan. I look forward to our meeting, Council President. Our meeting was scheduled and then we had to reschedule it. So I don't want us to say anything out of the way to our school district. We are finally getting to a place where we're going to be working together and doing some stuff. So we want to say, school district, we want to work with you. I don't want you to say anything, or have any misinterpretation of anything being stated. We are looking forward to this meeting on next week. It is long overdue. We are looking forward to it, and we are in great anticipation of working together for the common good of moving the great city of Paterson forward. Director, DPW, you already know how I feel, so I don't have to reiterate it. You already know. Madam Clerk, Council President, to my colleagues, I am leaving now, but I want to vote yes. And if there's anything I need to know, Council President, I will call you later on tonight. God bless you. God bless the great city of Paterson.
Thank you, Councilwoman Mims. Good night. Councilman Velez?
Thank you, Council, Madam Clerk. Thank you for the opportunity. Council President, recommendation back and forth. I know the administration is here listening. I know the administration is taking notes, not only from the input of the community, also from the input of us as the council members in the city of Paterson. The chairman of DPW stated some share agreement that sometimes you don't need a share agreement. Sometimes just communication will make things happen. When I was sitting as the chairman of DPW, I knew that a storm was coming in. I knew that I was tracking the storm myself at home or whatever I was. But at the same time, I had the boots on the ground, free, coming down the snow and having communication with everyone, not just DPW, with everyone. I recall one of the snowstorm, I believe in 2016, I believe it is, or 2018, that I even went to the shops and the trucks were sitting there and talked to the mechanic and said, listen, we need those trucks right away out. We need to make sure that our DPW gets those trucks fixed right away. We're receiving a storm. Even without a storm, we have to follow up. Even that is, people say that it's not our responsibility, but we're only legislators. But we all on deck and we all on this. So we have to think out of the box and move forward, making sure that our department gets what they deserve. I sat here listening and people individually talking about their ward, and I ward, and this ward, and I ward. When a snowstorm comes down, this type of snow comes down, I don't look at the condition or the stuff. Paterson, in the moment of crisis, in the moment of situations, in the moment of stress, and I was trying to take all the negative ideas and put it into positive ideas, and try to make sure that not to put more stress where the crisis is at, or try not to put more stress where the situation is at. I want to take the opportunity to thank the community for acknowledging and coming forward to raise the morale with the statement of DPW. All DPW workers out there and directors, and not only the DPW, every department in the city knows how I feel when it comes up to their service. And I believe there's one that I always say, no matter what they have or the limited resources, they try to do their best and try to do the best for the residents of Paterson. You had to see the faces of frustration of not only the directors, not only the employees, all those employees that was working out there, because they want to do more with less, and I commend them. I commend them greatly, of everything they have been done. Last but not least, Council President, I got a question. But before this question to you, I just want to inform the residents of the Fifth Ward, even that they saw me this year making videos or doing things in the snowstorm. Myself, I was stuck in the snow. And then when I had the chance to come out, a car ran at a red light and hit me. That involved in an accident. I had to praise the Lord and move forward, but this situation happens. Right now in the Fifth Ward, there's a power outage on the Fifth Ward, on the section of East 24, East 25th, 20th Avenue. residents are texting me and calling me, to find out what's going on. Please text, the word out at 47734. 47734. Pull the word out because it will register where you're at right now. If your account is, if your phone is registered to your account, it will tell you right away what is the estimated time of that power to come back. The administration, just take note, just in case you get this calls about outage, please text the word out at 47734, and you will get an update when the power will come back in your area. Council President, I'm going to ask you a question, and I know that the administration is here. We got DPW, we got members of the fire department, we got the VA, we got the corporate council, but if we take our luxury time and take time for, break agendas to make sure that we are, as a legislator, and all those individuals that are in this meeting, took their time from their family and took their time from doing something personal to come to this emergency meeting. My question is, did the administration, and I'm talking about the mayor of the city of Paterson, has the due responsibility to sit in this emergency meeting and not just let the director and VA answer back to our taxpayers? This deserves a more and better respect, okay? I would like to hear from the mayor directly, what's his plan? Because the plan could be delayed, could be thrown on the table from his office, So to the directors, or probably the directors giving the plan. So if the mayor were kind enough and say, you know what, this is a state emergency meeting, emergency meeting, to talk about this and to make sure that our city receive the right information, because the director will back up every word, every work that they do because they have boots on the ground. But the residents of Paterson, the taxpayer, deserve an answer directly from this mayor, from the city of Paterson, and the same way that we took our time to break our agenda, to do our personal and delay our personal things, to make sure we're here to listen to the concern of the residents, he should do the same thing. So, Council President, I'm not gonna probably be here too long in this meeting, but I'm gonna try to hold on and to see if at least a draft plan was made while this meeting was taking place, to be able to still inform our community what is the plan through via text or through the information that we get daily. Thank you, Council President. Thank you, residents of Paterson, and to the residents of the Fifth Ward. Those that text me, Director Cook testified that all those texts was forwarded to every one of them, and they accordingly took care of them, all of them, because after the complaint was coming in, I was making sure that it was taken care of. And the resident, please, let's be a little bit more patient, more than we have, and hopefully this storm has been a lesson, not for only this administration, for anybody that in the future decides to be the mayor of the city of Paterson. Thank you, President Flavio. God bless you all. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank you for it.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President.
Before I go into my commentary, I got a text, Councilman Velez, DPW Director. There is the intersection of Market Street and 27th Street by Seatown. There's no traffic light working there. And I guess we need a police officer there. It's a safety, that's why it's important for me to say it now, to avoid anyone getting hurt in that intersection. So, listen, we're here because it was a tremendous storm. It is strange that every time we try to relay the message from the community and hold the administration, and I often say the administration, accountable. And when I mean the administration, I don't mean the administrator. I mean the whole city workforce. We're the legislative body. Talk about the administrator, the administration. But that's why we're in the situation that we're in, because you have Councilman Jackson stating, oh, you're ripping DPW, then the administration has to be accountable. Well, DPW is part of the administration. So we can't contradict one another. And it's interesting, all the years that I've been here in the council, I had my conversation with Councilwoman Mims about how the salaries of the DPW workers are, they're not making a living wage. And instead of talking, I tell her all the time, instead of praising all these people, and I don't mean it about wage, she does a good job, but I tell her, you have all these council members always defending, but where are they to try to talk to the administration? I think I maybe had one conversation with Madam BA stating that most of the money in the city of Paterson goes to public safety, most of the budget goes to public safety. A fair, decent living wage to some of the city employees overall, it's not just DPW, it is something to look at. Because we still start having starting salaries that are like, very low, and now they're paying, medical insurance, which in the past, a government employee did not have to pay. Some people are better off working in a fast food place. The check is probably bigger at the end of the day. So I am here as a legislator and to give you what you need, the resources that you need, but also to hold you accountable. So I'm not going to stop. It doesn't matter which department it is. Since day one, I asked DPW to provide me, and you guys have been doing that. In the capital plan, I said, what do you guys need? And to prove it, to show you that I'm not lying, there was newspapers articles out there where the administration provided, what we provided through the budget, the manpower or the resources, the funding, to have the manpower necessary in certain areas. But we couldn't hire for whatever reason. But the resources were in place. That's one. Two, first year we didn't get any requests. Maybe, the director did submit it. The administration didn't submit that to us. A request for equipment. Right? It's all recorded on YouTube. Second year, yes, the director has been making his submission, and we have been providing the director for the equipment that he has requested. Third year, which is this year, you also have some equipment in there. Now, the purpose of this meeting, we're not here because we feel, and the community, we're here because of what we heard from the community. It's not what we feel ourselves, from the community. To address some of the things that took place. But what gets me really upset is that when we try to relay the message from the community, some council members try to make it that it's between us and DPW. That is not constructive at all. The residents don't want to hear excuse. They don't want to hear excuse from the police department not responding, right? 3 hours to respond. It's not about a particular department. Right now we're talking about DPW because they were responsible for the cleanup, and that's what we're here. And we're also here to see if we could put a plan together. If we leave tonight and the next discussion, Councilman Mendez and Director, at your committee meeting is not to put a really outline plan together. And the reason I'm saying this is Councilman Abdelaziz and I were out there, and we asked some of the supervisors, how many trucks you have? Oh, I'm not sure. What areas? Oh, we don't have a plan, we just have an area, for example. They don't go by maps, right? They just have an area. So what we're saying is, we never said you guys were not working hard, but working hard doesn't translate oftentimes to great results. We have to work smarter, not harder. We're not being we need to work smarter, not harder, is what we're saying. Smarter. And a plan needs to be in place. So if we need to have a company on standby, we need to have a company on standby. The residents don't care the reasons why we can't get it done. They're paying taxes just like every other resident in any other town. They need services. We're getting subpar services here in different areas, not just DPW. And we need to improve. That's why we got elected, to improve it. I'm here to improve it, not to bash anyone, not to complain. The reason we're here for this meeting is to make it better. It is interesting that we had a meeting set up with the school district before even the snowstorm was announced. We had a meeting set up. We are going to try to work on those things that we have been talking about for a long time, but we actually going to make it a reality. What prompted this meeting, just so you know, was the situation with the vaccination site. That's what prompted the meeting. Not the snowstorm, but the vaccination site. But we took the opportunity, and it was a recommendation that I'm sure the mayor was also involved in that, but we're going to get together with the school district. And we have a great relationship with the commissioner. So don't be aggressive. Don't start questioning why the trucks are not being used. There's got to be, Councilman Velez said we don't need to have a shared services agreement. Yes, we do. They don't have the authority to go on our roads and start cleaning them. It's a liability issue. We need a shared service agreement. And we want to make that happen. So we got to work smarter. We got to work smarter. We have the resources in this city to improve all of our services. But we have to work smarter. We're not working smarter. We're reactive. I got a call the other day from the chief of staff in a good way. It was a good intent. The intent was good. Councilman, they sent me to DPW. Whatever calls you have, just send them to me. And I'm like, Della, I can't send it to you. I can't send you any calls because everyone is calling me. I probably sent her three streets, and that was it. Because there was too many calls. I also noticed when we asked that question about the plan, Councilman Abdelaziz had to get out of the truck and help out, dig out one of the DPW trucks. There was no change in the, it's gotta be a reason. I'm not saying, listen.
The council president did not grab a shovel.
You cannot leave a car unattended. Someone had to stay in the car. We have to, once again, we're here to make this better. I've always said to DPW, do you have everything you need now? What else do you need? That is the question that you, Councilman Mendes, should have asked, and I don't know if you did or not, should have asked before the snow took place. Do you have everything you need? Now, maybe the director and the supervisors thought that they were prepared, but maybe they were not anticipating the snowfall that we got. But ultimately the residents want the service. Some of the residents might have been patient and said, you know what, one day, I understand. But when you go on the third day now, and your streets still have not been cleaned, I don't care how big the snowfall was, because I'm getting other residents from other towns telling me, yeah, I was into Paterson, it was a nightmare. I drove to my town, it was a totally different situation. I have the text messages here. I'll get, share them. But ultimately, what are we going to do going forward? Not just with this, with everything, not just with the snow, recycling, everything. We need to, I know this is about, the snowstorm, but we need to put a plan together. Madam DA, Director, let's work together. Let's get this fixed now. If we don't do it together, we're not going to get it done. 1.5 years later, we're still talking about services that need to be improved. That wasn't what I envisioned when I got here, but we have to deal with that right now. I'm sure you didn't envision the same thing. What else? I also recommend that to assist, maybe just try to, hire a company to do a plan for the city of Paterson, a cleanup plan. That way you know what resources, after you draw the plan, you know what resources you actually need. Throwing more resources a lot of times doesn't equate to better results. Not all the time. So we have to do those analysis. But once again, I hate some of my colleagues always trying to pin us against DPW. Listen, it doesn't matter who you are. And I want you to do the same. I'm a public employee myself. We're entrusted to provide services. If the residents feel that the services are not being provided, I'm not going to stay quiet and say, oh, Well, I can't say anything because it's DPW. Well, I can't say anything because it's the police. Oh, I can't say anything because it's the fire department, the health department. No, if you're wrong, it's wrong. And when you're doing a good job, we'll tell you, great job. But I cannot see myself being a councilman, coming here and tell you that it's okay what took place with the storm. It's not. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. We need to start thinking more of let's do the right thing and start thinking less of the votes that you might lose by passing a certain comment. That's what gets to me and irks me. My vote is yes. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Um,
Votes are 9 yeas, 0 nays. Public portion is now closed.
So real quick, actually, Councilman Abdelaziz always had the floors. He's been waiting for a while. But one last thing I forgot to mention is we're going to also try to work with the parking authority to see if we could get them open when the snowstorm like this happened, so people can park their car. The same thing with the school district. We just got to do things a little different, and also to make it easier on DPW. We could continue. Councilman Abdelaziz, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. I thought we were ending the meeting with, I didn't know that vote was to end roll call, but first and foremost, I want to thank the men and women of the DPW that were working during these snowstorms, right? Many people were inside with their families and they were outside. One thing I always do look at, and one thing, and this should be across all boards, right? You always want to look at what you could do better. If you think you do perfect, that should be every department, right? Even us as council people, we go in there. What can we do better, right? And there's things, and I told my residents and I told my constituents, we could do better, and we have to do better. The roar of our residents is out there. They don't want to know what the conditions, what's this, what's that. How can we bring that service up there? If our DPW could not because of the manpower and the equipment, then we as a council and administration have to find the tools to get the job done. That doesn't necessarily just mean purchase equipment and hire employees. This means partnering up. This means us as a council working together. Not going to each other's wards and say this and that and move this and move that. That makes no sense. Work smarter than harder. When you start moving DPW trucks from one end to the city to the other end to the city, you're wasting time on roadways. I spoke to 7 DPW directors that have large cities, small cities, counties. They never move tow trucks away. And they say when you look at an area, you keep them in an area, then you know who's doing the job and doing the job right. And that allows our department heads to hold accountable. So for example, if I'm not going to B section's done, they have the same tools and resources, and the B section's done curb to curb and blacktop, you don't move them out there, you say something's wrong with the A section with the employees. So we have to find the tools, and how do you find the tools, right? It's easy to talk about it. One of the things that I saw in the city of Passaic, and our director, working in conjunction with DPW, snow removal should be a coordinated effort out of OEM. It should be an emergency management plan in place. We have a director of Office of Emergency Management. We are getting a new office for Office of Emergency Management. And in the city of Passaic, once you get all these shared service agreements in, they all meet, not just DPW, right? I'm talking about not just for parking. The parking authority also has plows that could be utilized. The school district, the housing authority has plows, and the roads around the housing authority, right? All these government entities work smarter, not harder, right? It should be fall under the umbrella of the OEM director. You bring in the DPW heads, you bring in housing authority, you bring in parking authority, you bring in the maintenance director from the school district to tell you what's his fleet. They all meet, and the county of Passaic. I say this perfectly. I saw it. I was able to drive. I was out there. I want to commend Joel Ramirez that was on the road for 12, 13 hours. You know, Council President, that's how we shoveled that plow out, because we're out on the road monitoring the situation, and we're all hands out there to help out. The County of Passaic, and one example of us not working together, if a plow in Lakeview section runs out of salt on Buffalo and East Railway, he would have to drive to the salt dome in the 4th Ward, when there's a salt dome right on Columbia Avenue in the 6th Ward. So the trucks in those areas could probably utilize the salt dome and cut the time to make it more efficient. So these are the ideas where I feel, right, moving forward and not being reactive, it should come out of the OEM director's office. That should be the central hub of all the agencies. So the right hand knows what the left hand's doing. I want to commend the County of Passaic, for example. Every time I saw a county truck coming to their salt dome in the Lakeview section, they had their plows down on the side streets. They had their plows down coming down Knickerbocker Ave. They had their plows down coming down Genesee Ave and these other roads coming from the county roads. My ward has many county roads. So that should alleviate the work for our city roads. And our DPW employees were out there working. I saw them. The only thing I had to the director, and I had this question, is meaning start on the street and go up and down. I spoke to a DPW person that their drivers have their route programmed on a GPS. Programmed on GPS, meaning go straight, make a right. It's just following the dots on their GPS on their tow trucks. Those are the things that I want to know. I don't want our employees just driving around to street or taking a call. Doing that, I'm guilty. I sent roads because we were reactive at that point. But I don't want to send a driver that's in the middle of the route, take him off the route to go. Sorry, I guess I got muted. I hope could you guys hear me? Alright, yeah, I got muted. I don't know if I said something wrong, but, so, Director, I know we were in constant contact. This snow was 25 inches, whatever it is. It was a tough storm. Absolutely. Grant, I know that. I was out there. We need to have all branches of government working hand in hand. When you add the vehicles from the parking authority, when you add the vehicles of the housing authority, when you add the vehicles of the Board of Ed, the DPW, and the County of Passaic, I've seen it happen when I worked in the city of Passaic. The school, they all met out of the Office of Emergency Management. I think that allows the right hand knowing what the left hand's doing and everyone working together. And now that's for future storms. We need to do something about how to remove the snow now. The snow's not going to melt for another, you're looking at next week, it's 23 degrees as a high. Street sweeping, we should continue that schedule but have a plow. This is ideas that my council colleagues spoke about. Director, that's my second question. Could you put that plan together? Do you have the resources to put that plan together, or do you need an outside vendor that could do that? I know we spoke, you told me there's 7 routes. That means if we need an outside vendor, that means we're going to need 7 different plows for those routes for 5 days a week, right? Or something. We were just talking on the phone about that. So could your department handle, if we were to say starting Monday, we give all the residents the weekend to shovel out, get ready to move your car, right? And start the street cleaning, snow removal?
No.
Your department can handle, so you would need an outside vendor?
We need a few outside vendors. You talk the 7 routes, not one payload is gonna do 1 route. You need like 7 areas. Each area consists of multiple streets. You're talking multiple payloaders, you're talking multiple trucks the whole way. It's a big operation.
So that's good. So I think we need to see what the cost will be, and then it should be brought back to the council. Would we be willing to spend that?
Right now, what we're doing is, our main streets that we do, our evacuation routes, that's what we're doing now. Main Street, 21st Ave, hopefully Market Street, Park Ave, 10th Avenue, those streets.
No, I got that, Director. So my request, and it has to be quick, right? My request is, how much would it cost if we were to run that street sweeping operation to remove all the snow? And at the end, this council is the one that will approve that contract and expenditure, because this is what our residents want. I heard Councilman Jackson say about an incident that happened in Philadelphia. In my ward, I just read in the paper, there wasn't a good incident about a parking spot. People's blood gets flown. We don't need a tragedy. So we need to find a way. If we can't handle it, the snow needs to be removed. We do live in a city. That's what makes us different than some of these other towns around here, right? I have friends and family that live in Wayne. Their snow's blacktop curb to curb because there's no cars on the street. They don't park on the street. They have driveways. Our residents park on the street. So we should provide that service to them. How do we clear that street? Because there is no parking. We didn't have parking before the storm. So imagine the parking situation now. We don't want a tragedy to happen. So my recommendation, Director, bring us the budget. If we wanted to implement that next week, 5 days a week, that should give you your whole street sweeping plan, every street in the city. And how much it would cost, you think? And then it's up to the council if we would support that or not. That's the checks and balances of government. Now, if you guys don't want to do it, then the administration must come out and say, we don't want to do that plan to remove the snow. But give us a plan, how much it will cost, and then we'll make that determination, right? If you give us say it's going to cost us $70,000, we have a 70-degree day the next day, we may say, hold off, let it melt to 70 degrees, you know what I mean? But I looked at the forecast for next week, it does not look good with the weather. Thank you, Council President.
Council President.
Councilman Mendes.
Thank you, Council President. Director, one of the recommendations in the beginning, you started talking about the 7 route. I'm not that expert into understanding. I know you explained how the 7 route are split, but moving forward, one of the recommendations that I have is that I would like to reorganize those 7 routes into Warren District. You will be the person to let us know if that's doable, capable, because, based on the city, there's 6 different about Warren District. Councilman Abdelaziz mentioned that, that it's not a good idea to move one truck from one section to another section. That one of the complaints that I hear from constituents was that they see truck moving from one side to another side, not plowing, but maybe that truck was moving from one section to another section. So I think that it will be a good idea to reorganize those 7 routes into Warren District. That's something that we're gonna have to sit down and do it, and we could put a special meeting. Now, to answer your question, Council President, if I ask the question about how ready the DPW was, yes. The answer was yes. We met the Friday before the storm with the director. We spoke about the capital plan, and we also spoke about the storm, that they were ready. So moving forward with that, Director, that's one of my recommendations. I think to better understand the city, Warren District, I believe it's a good idea, but we'd like to hear from you. We got to sit down and check those revenue 7 routes. How can we organize those routes and make sure that each driver gets designated to a specific area, not being able to move out of there and just work there until we clean it. Now, moving forward, there's another story coming on the way. I'm going back, that was my recommendation about parking authority. Shared services agreement do work, and it's been used in every other municipality. I think that is, it's extremely important that we get in contact with the director. Tony Perez, now we're planning to remove the snow out of the road. We could use those parking authority spots to leave it open and allow the community to use those parking spots to leave the road clean, to make sure that we could go and pick up the snow. That's another topic. And now the machine to pick up the snow, that's something that we really have to talk about. And like I said, I'm going to put a special meeting with the DPW committee, just to talk about how can we reorganize those routes to serve in a better way and in a better capacity our residents. So, those are some of my recommendations, Director. And those that know me, they know that I'm all about action. I've been in communication with you, Director, before the storm, during the storm, and after the storm. Day and night, I'm I have too much energy sometimes. And so I know not only the third ward, in every ward, going around, getting an assessment of what's going on. That's the reason why I was able to provide Della with so many different addresses and also to provide you with those addresses. So, and on top of that, that was the reason why we jumped and starting around 9 o'clock and we finished passing midnight in the third ward just to help our constituents. So I'm all about working together. I'm all about collaboration. Now, moving forward, Director, the plan of using empty spot in different sections of the city on future storm. That's something that's a recommendation that I'm going to leave it up to you and I'm going to put it on the record. For example, east side, I would like to make sure that our east side residents use the east side park, which is an open section to park all the cars there. So that will be easy for you to take care of that section with no cars out. So those are things that I would like to see in place. I know. I'm sorry, Council President.
I was going to say, Councilman, listen, I understand you have a lot of great ideas, right? You are the DPW chair. You're going to have all the time in the world with the director. So,
Monday.
exactly. Listen, Councilman.
Councilman, can you let me finish? Council President, this is my.
I'm going to let you finish, but I'm saying you're going to have them all to yourself for a long time. So,
No, listen, I almost was done with my comment, Councilman. I don't know, but you're taking more time out of my time. But listen, no, all I'm saying, Director, is I know we're gonna meet and we're gonna have all this time, but when we meet, I would like to hear from you and bring that plan together because this not 2-hour meeting, changing 7 route into Warren District in the city of Paterson, and I believe that this will work better. But this is not a 2-hour, 3-hour meeting. You have to come ready. How you gonna fit those 7 route into Warren District, and that will help us a lot. So moving forward, I look forward to have that meeting next week, Director. But like I say, this coming week there's another storm on the way. We got work to do. But this situation with parking authority, we all want. We could definitely start working on this right now, Director.
Council President.
And just to conclude, Council President, listen, we could change plan. If something that we have on the table doesn't work, that doesn't mean that we could change it and bring all the different ideas and different way of doing things.
Councilman, please wrap it up.
Yes, I'm wrapping it up. Council President, thank you so very much. And Director,
Council President,
I will give you a call tomorrow morning and we'll set up the meeting for Monday. First time in the morning, 9 o'clock. Thank you, my boy.
Councilman Jackson.
thank you, Council President. So, just the other day, over the weekend, I would call him a very good friend, was on Facebook, live in my ward, and he made several comments with his frustration on his shoulders because his daughter's block was atrocious, and he started calling everyone out, and in fact, I was one of the people, yeah, MJ, I'm calling you out. And, the point that I'm making here is, we have to understand the roles and responsibilities of where we are. And, obviously he's frustrated, so I am one of the persons who, is responsible and does have to take a level of accountability. But it's not our job as council members to micromanage the administration and tell them how to do their job. That's not the responsibility of the council. What's very, it's not just alarming, but it's almost laughable when we make suggestions. Well, tell us what it's going to cost, and are we going to hire third-party vendors? The director just came to this council a couple weeks ago with a proposal to hire a third-party vendor, not even to hire, but to have a third-party vendor on the list as for standby in the event of an emergency. And I wasn't for snow removal, but he had a proposal that he presented to this council, which the council's responsibility is to fund their efforts, and we denied that request. And in fact, not only was it denied, but he was scolded for it. Why are we doing? So then we come back in hindsight and being responsive to the situation where we get flustered because we can't handle the community's calls, and we tell the director, well, you should have something in place. You should already have third-party vendors on standby. He's been doing that for years. So we cannot continue to do the same things over and over again. And oh, we need to be like Prospect Park. Oh, well, the way we do it in my job, let's do it the way we do it in your job. We're not here to follow the footsteps of someone else. You can't expect that we're at the size of our city that we're going to buy a snow melting or snow thrower machine and it's going to handle the capacity of a city of our size. We'll need 6 of them. At the very least, we'll need 3. The fact of the matter is we don't have enough equipment to cover the size of the city. And that's where this council, as opposed to being responsible and finding the means and finding the wherewithal, we understand we continuously talk about the DPW budget being cut, talk about violence in the community, yet the recreational budget has been cut and never any attempts to make any real impact on that. We have council members here who want to play the role of mayor and tell the director how he should do something, when the real job of the council is to hold the administration authority, deciding authority of the city all night. She's the one who should be on the hot plate, not the director. She's the one who the mayor appointed to do a job. She's the one who subscribed the failures that we continuously see. The mayor is the one who's failing this community, and yet and still we're scolding the people who are out here working hard with the minimal circumstances that we've allowed or presented them to work under. Equipment that's far outdated. Wow, we have directors and people in the VA's office making $8,000 in one pay period. The finance chair there was no level of accountability on that, but we sitting here scolding people because we have 12 trucks that have salt droppers to do an entire city of 8 square miles. When a neighboring municipality has 3, and they're not even a fraction of the size that we are. So when we talk about the council doing its job, being the financial fiduciary body to provide the resources for the services, where is this council on holding the administration accountable for the failed negotiations with the hospital on the $7 million a year that they owe us, to over $50 million a year that they owe us for not paying taxes, and allow them off the hook to pay $700,000. That money that we utilize. I'm sorry?
This is a special meeting to discuss.
Councilman, I don't need to be educated on what this is. I'm bringing light to the community on the failure of people like yourself who voted in favor of the botched negotiations with the unpaid taxes for the hospital that could have went to providing the resources that's desperately needed to this DPW department. I don't need to be educated on what's going on. I think you, sir, need to be educated on what the job is of the councilman, and especially the finance chair. Because when we talk about a lack of services, it's because of the lack of resources that we provide these gentlemen, and that's where the finger needs to be pointed. None of us want to take the onus of the responsibilities of what we have. No, we want to drive around behind trucks, and yes, I'm out there. I had a shovel in my hand. I was helping the best that I can. You don't see me trying to take credit for that or trying to say, oh, we're here as a council body that's supposed to be creating the finances to put put our city in a position to be able to repair itself, and we have not done that. We're not holding the administration accountable. This BA has sat quiet the entire night and has not answered, and she's decided she's the authority of the city. Where's the level of accountability there? No, let's bring the DPW staff on so we can score them on them doing everything in their power, working 24/7 for 3-4 days with minimal equipment, while we're sitting here acting as if we have the answers. When we're failing, and this council has failed the community, has failed the DPW staff and workers, and by not being able to provide them with the resources that's necessary. Maybe we should do a tour, because when this mayor was asked to do a tour of the police department by the former chief of police, and he showed them the conditions that these people have to work under, all of a sudden the mayor decided to force him out. Maybe we should do a tour of their facilities to understand the conditions that they're working under.
Council President.
Well, Council President, I'll say this in closing. I know it's your effort to silence me, but you cannot. You cannot intimidate me and be silent. I'm talking, Council President. I'm talking. Render me the same respect that you render to the 6th Ward Council person and to the 3rd Ward Council person. Render the same amount of respect. You cannot pick and choose when you want to.
Please.
I'm trying to wrap it up. If you stop interrupting me.
Council President, when you get a chance, please.
I'm done.
Thank you. So before, Councilman, hold on a minute.
Thank you.
Let me just clarify a few things real quick. And Director Rodriguez, I sent you actually a text through, I thought it was a regular text. I sent it to you through WhatsApp like 10 minutes ago. And I'm gonna ask you a question and Councilman Jackson, and I'll follow up with the VA. So it's interesting how some people just jump the gun. But let me just clear something up. Since I've been councilman, I have never reduced the DPW budget. That's one. Correct me if I'm wrong, Madam VA. Mr. Rodriguez, correct me if I'm wrong. Since I have never reduced the DPW budget, I have never taken action to reduce the recreation budget. We actually, under this council, we provided more equipment than any other council before to this DPW department. So I just hate the misinformation. Now, a lot of times when an administration submits something to the governing body, you have to know how to sell things to the governing body, because we're supposed to be the steward also of funds for the city also, right? Check and balance. We need to have check and balance in government. Let me just clear this up. The tree cutting thing, and I just want to respond to Mr. Jackson and then I'll leave it at that. We had a workshop meeting where the way it was sold to us is that we needed 40,000 to do some work that is PSC&G's responsibility, which is cutting the lines. About it, because that's how it was sold to us, right? The work needed to be done, but it was PSC&G's responsibility. I said, I'm not paying for something that's supposed to be done by PSC&G. Now, the next meeting comes up, Councilman Abdelaziz assisted a little bit and say, oh, this is for emergency only. So it's how you sell things. You cannot say one meeting that this tree cutting service is going to be for one thing and then change it. So my vote was no. Also to clarify something, because you have a councilman here that loves to misinform the people. I voted no on the St. Joe's agreement. So I would appreciate if this gentleman actually comes here and does some research. I'm okay, listen, I love people holding me accountable. Take all the jobs you want. It's frustrating. That's why we cannot get the best, we cannot get a lot out of these meetings because of people or council members like this. We're here to make this better. So let me just follow by asking the directors an important question. Director Rodriguez, Mr. Jackson, and I don't mean it as, it's not a trick question. I just want to see how you feel, and I hope you feel the same way that I do, that there's always room for improvement. How do you feel about the situation that we have and the performance, the overall performance that we had during the storm. I want to hear from, because we have our opinion. If you don't believe it, then we didn't make any progress. I want to know how you feel and both of you feel. So Director Rodriguez. Oh, you're muted? Sorry, I think I pressed the button by mistake. Hold on. Hold on a minute.
I'm good now, you can hear me?
Yes.
I think we did okay. We could definitely do better. There's always room for improvement. I believe we did better than what most people, most of the complaints and what's being said here today. I'll leave it at that.
So Director, and again, it was just one question.
Yes.
So do you think that if the storm happens in the future again, do you think it's acceptable to go 3 or 4 days after the storm for a street to be completely cleared?
In certain incidents, maybe, yeah. I just got a text from a neighboring town in Helden that they still have quite a few roads that are snow covered. I'm answering your question.
I know, Director, but the intent of this question is to actually make some progress. If you still believe that it's acceptable to have a road
I like the roads to be blacktopped during the storm.
Under no circumstance, Director, right? Under no circumstance. It was an easy answer, right? So we could move in a positive direction going forward. But we cannot have the director of our DPW, and I was hoping for a different answer so we could go, all end it at a positive note that we're gonna do better, that we didn't, I'm not saying to admit that you did a bad job, but it's acceptable for you to have a road, full with snow 3 days before after a snowstorm, and you said sometimes yes. No, my answer is never. As a taxpayer of the city of Paterson, this wasn't my intent.
Okay.
It's unacceptable to have any road anywhere.
You're right.
So this is the mindset we need to have. We need to do better. Mr. Jackson, thank you, Director. Appreciate it. Mr. Jackson, your overall assessment, and how do you feel like places that where we could improve? What do you need, to address situations like this?
Like the director said, there's always room for improvement. Nothing's perfect. We already began the process of learning and implementing things like one side of the street parking on some of these rules that are slim, some of these one ways.
That's good.
Also, I believe that our men work tirelessly to try to make these things happen. Unfortunately, this is a storm that we weren't thinking was going to happen this way. I'm pretty sure the director will be forwarding you all of the reports that we got. But once we learned what we were getting, we did try to reach out to them.
And I appreciate that answer. Listen.
I can't hear you. You guys hear me?
I can't hear you.
I said, can you hear me?
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me? No?
Now we could, yeah, now we could.
No, I'm saying, Director, we're here together, right? We're having this meeting. The intent is not to tell you how bad you did, but to bring the concerns of the residents, right? There's a lot of people there's been an outcry out there. Although you work tirelessly, many hours, working very hard, we need to give you the resources necessary to get the work done. And that's what we're here for. It's not for nothing else. So I am glad that the ULEs acknowledge that you're putting things in place and that we could do better. We could do better in every area in the city, right? So, Director, you want to speak, Director?
Yeah, no, with the
One of you guys have to mute. There you go.
Yeah, he did. And with the moving on with the capital, we spoke and we were trying to maybe switch the capital purchase around for this year. Maybe do go with the payloader with the snow blow. We have those quotes already. It's a big price item, and we are looking at that. Like I said, we're looking at legislation too.
How much is it? More or less.
That piece of equipment alone, the attachment is about $136,000.
That's doable. Madam DA, I know we already have some bond ordinances for the next meeting, that we have to do the first reading. We might have to do a separate one then, if we make any amendments. But just so you know, guys, the mentality should be that people should not have, people should be able to get to work the next day, but with a storm like this, at least from the second day. It can be that you cannot go, you can't get out of your house for three or 4 days, and we can tell them, oh, you have a low car, that's why you can't get out. That shouldn't be the story. So we're here to work with you. I hope the mentality is that within 2 days, a storm this big, within 2 days, we at least, see blacktop on most of the roads. And, Councilman Paterson. Oh, hold on a minute, Councilman Velez. Let's just, let the BA speak. So Madam BA, you know that we have always, pushed for getting the equipment necessary for DPW. We often ask you if they have the staff, and we're always told yes. I know sometimes, although the funding is there, let me bring that back. Although the funding is there, sometimes you have difficulties doing the hiring. So I just want to, not put all the blame if the resources were not in place. Sometimes you having difficulties doing the hiring, but I'm not going to speak for you. I'll let you speak now, Madam BA.
Thank you, Council President. Yes, I think to speak on the capital purchases, I think the director and his team have done a really good job of laying out multiple years purchases, and that's why this year included, 3 vehicles for snow, that they had the next year, or for this upcoming, as you said, the bond ordinances that are already in, we have an additional snow truck in there, and they have ones for next year. The focus on the front end loader, I think, is something that the director has talked about as kind of that multi-purpose tool, which will really also help with during these storms. And like you said, for hiring, we're really trying to get into a groove with all the different departments to be able to turn over any vacancies pretty quickly. And there has been just some great improvement there, I think, with DPW. So, as I think everyone's in agreement tonight, there's always room for improvement. I know we had our OEM coordinator on, and I heard the Councilman Abdelaziz's conversation before, and that work, these guys really are working together, and I think they're already brainstorming in the snow work, and in some of the communications that's going to be going out, and having that new one hub for communication center, I think will also be really helpful. So we appreciate the comments.
So we're gonna go all hands on deck. We're gonna grab, speak to the parking authority. We're gonna grab, go with the mayor and maybe Councilman Mims. Speak to the parking authority. If there's any resources the housing authority has available, let's work in an agreement with them also. Thanks for bringing that up, Councilman Abdelaziz. We're gonna speak with the school district. All hands need to, all decks. We all have to come together and make this happen. We cannot have resources laying around not being used. Ultimately, they were all paid with taxpayers' money, and we got to get together. Although we're separate entities, we are somehow related. We created the parking and the housing authority, the school district. We work together with one another, and we're gonna make this happen. We're gonna make this happen, and we got to do it. Let's think positively, and we're going to bring the resources to make things better. Councilman Velez, real quick, and then Councilman Velez.
Thank you, Council President. Finally, we get into conclusion that the city of Paterson has 2 armies. The army of the administration and the city council army. And finally, in this meeting today, we could all agree that probably we have our differences in how things are managing and how things are running, or how things should run, or what the plan or what was now the practice. But it's notable that somehow, some shape, and some aspect, our meetings had to be like this. Getting to a conclusion that we are an army, that we need to be on board and together to make our residents in the city of Paterson comfortable as the elected official they elected us to do, and the city employees understanding that they have a community to serve. Earlier, I stated that we don't need a share agreement. It was in the aspect of communication with the parking authority to open their sites to be able to park. Based on experience, I had conversation with Director of the Parking Authority, Tony Perez, and he did open the sites to residents who park in the middle of the storms or during the storm. And it was an agreement, and he ran it with the mayor, and he did open the parking for residents to park on the site for 24 hours after the storm, because they needed to clean the lot too at the same time. But in one point or others, the residents of Paterson needs to see that this governing body, and once again, we could have our differences and our agendas and our point of view, but it have to be sent a message out there that we are a governing body that are willing to work with everyone and with every situation in the city of Paterson. I am happy to see a meeting conducted, and I want to commend you, Council President, for the past meeting that you have been calling for emergency in the city of Paterson. At the end of the road have been positive and with positive results. And I want to say this because everybody talk about their ward. I don't know if you could agree with me, but the ward that has more smaller streets in the city of Paterson is the 5th Ward. And you have to have that wisdom in the moment of crisis and the moment of storms and the moment of situation in Paterson, that we have to go a little bit low to get in this storm. People was texting me with stress. People was texting me with comments, and God gave me the wisdom to explain how things work. And so far, it works, and it could continue working. My ward is in the middle of every ward. That's why they call it the heart of Paterson. And before I said it, this is not a ward, but it's Paterson, and the cars that goes through the 5th Ward have to somehow goes to the other side of the city. They still gotta go through my ward, and I cannot see, and I will not accept the competition between wards. I commend everyone, my colleagues, that was active and proactive in different ways. One of the things, I'm not going to say it, I'm not going to call the media, I'm not going to call Channel 47 just to make a political agenda, because if I don't have the answer, sometimes I have to sit back and relay in those that have the answer. And this time, the people that had the answer are DPW, are the administration, and there are other divisions in the city of Paterson that had to work with other issues regarding the storm. And we're not mentioning here human services, community improvement with inspections and people that had problems during the storm. But the show must go on. I have trust and confidence that the 3 individuals that are running DPW, and this is Director Rodriguez, Mr. Michael Jackson, and also Manny Ojeda, and the men and women of the DPW, that they are going to sit and not only bring ideas, they're going to bring in their experience in the boots of the ground. I want to say this, Billy Rodriguez and directors, I think this storm, I was the less stressed individual to your department. But I always gonna be grateful for the work that you guys do in the city of Paterson. No matter with or not equipment, you guys to your attention and it's possible. There are some parts, especially in the Fifth Ward. I'm not saying to go inside the park, but the sidewalk needs to be clear because people are walking in the middle of the street, and I don't want nobody to get hurt. And Market Street, it has a lot of snow banks. I know you guys gonna catch up to them, removal of the snow. But the sidewalk on the front of Roberto Clemente is cover of 2 or 3 feet of snow. Also, the sidewalk of the surrounding of the Parque Juan Pablo Duarte is covered. The sidewalk, I'm talking about the sidewalk, is cover of 2 or 3 inches, 2 foot of snow. And also the Pan American Park that people use, there's a bus stop there too. It needs to be clear. If it's possible, I'm not saying that it's a priority for today, but if it's possible, if tomorrow, you could schedule something to clear those city responsibility to clear those sidewalks, will make safer to pedestrians. And that goes to that back and forth to downtown, et cetera. Saying that, Council President, I just have to lag out. I have other things to do. I want to report that the power outage that we had in the Fifth Ward, the power came back. Thank you, PCE and those residents that texted to PCE, because that's the way they react faster when they know where the power outage is at. So, Council President, I don't know who's there. Okay. Council President, I just want to say that anything that I could do to make any division or any committee successful, I'm open door, and open-minded to work with everyone in this council to make our city look brighter than ever. So thank you and good night. I have to apologize. Unless I'm not breaking the law. Unless I'm not breaking the law, I just wanted to
hold on.
excuse myself.
Yeah. We're gonna wrap it up though. We have, let me see, I think we have 6 right now. I think we're done. Anyone else? I think we're done with.
Okay.
Councilman Delacis.
Yeah, just real quick, Council President, while we're here, directors, I'm looking at the forecast for Sunday. It's up to 8 inches of snow now. So please make the necessary standby, any private entities, emergency contracts, not just for the front end loader. If you guys want plows, have them on standby. So it's up to 8 inches. And there is a winter storm watch in Passaic County. We're one of them. So please say that again?
No, you finished.
I think we gotta figure out an inch threshold when we're gonna need that outside entity. Director, do you feel if we get 8 inches with the current conditions we have, you are prepared for the snowstorm on Sunday that's going into Monday?
We have no choice, we have to be prepared. And whatever we gotta do, we gotta get it done.
I like that. That's a great mindset and attitude, but would you need, and put the request, outside contractor help for 8 inches of snow?
As soon as we finish this call, I'm gonna call Harry.
All right, and if you can, I know we had the front end loader as a private guy, if we could be proactive, we had 8 trucks go down. So we should have some plow trucks on standby, because one of my areas went down. Not Councilman Jackson, Supervisor Jackson told me, South Paterson, I heard we lost a truck and we didn't have a truck for 6-7 hours and it went down. He had 2 accidents and that happens, right? But we should have that backup push if we want to have plows also, not just the front end loader. Whatever you guys decide, but want to put that on the record. Hopefully, this just came in. It started off as a couple inches. Now they're just saying 8 inches. So I just want to know that we're ready for Sunday into Monday.
So this was a positive meeting, you know, a lot of input, a lot of new ideas. Councilman Abdulaziz, thanks for sharing, bringing up the housing authority to see what resources they have. Councilman Mendez, I know you brought up the parking. We have to, you know, take advantage of those lots. And again, we do have a schedule on the 11th. We have a scheduled Board of Education meeting.
Council President, I'm sorry to interrupt you. There's one entity that we're leaving out that is huge when it comes to parking. Because everyone says the parking authority, my ward, they're not gonna use the parking garages, that's on the other side. Charter schools. Charter schools are popped up all around the city, and there's a lot of parking lots that are sitting empty right now. And a lot of people in each ward have charter schools. So Madam VA, the Paterson Public Schools is a great idea, let's get them. Try to get these charter schools. You got one on Spruce Street that has 60 parking spots for that entity. I have 2 in my ward on the South Paterson side that could give you 50 parking spaces. So the charter schools are very important, Council President. I forgot to say that.
Well, Councilman Abdulaziz, thanks for that. Thank you for that. We're gonna see if we could arrange a meeting with all these entities. And not just for this year. I'm talking about this is something that we have to have on a yearly basis. Thank you very much. We have a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
So moved.
Councilman Abdulaziz, seconded by Councilman Mendez and Velez. Roll call, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk?
I'm sorry. Roll call to close the emergency meeting of February 5th, 2021. Councilman Abdulaziz? Are you hearing me?
I am hearing you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. And as I stated earlier, to the directors, I've been in constant communication with all of you guys and administration. I want to thank you guys for addressing the concerns as best as you can. To the DPW employees, they work their tails off. I'm not going to use other language on the council meeting, try to keep it very professional. They worked their tails off and they worked hard, and they needed some more resources and tools, right? Because it was one of those storms. In the outside entity, outside contractors need to be here to supplement, not replace, to supplement our DPW in the system. Moving forward, let's get all these entities in, and I want to thank our DPW employees and now moving forward, I think the centralized location should be going through OEM. They should be having these meetings. A perfect example is maybe tomorrow, get some entities in together to prepare for the Super Bowl Sunday, Monday snowstorm that now has a winter storm watch. To the residents, I heard you loud and clear. We have to do better. We must do better. You deserve better. We pay, in the 6th Ward, many residents pay high taxes, and the least they can have is accessible roadways after a snowstorm. So we are here, and I think the administration understands we must do better. I'm glad we had this meeting. Hopefully Tuesday we can talk about City Business Council President and put the snow away, and sometimes push the politics away. Let's come together, solutions. As I always tell my staff, you come in with a complaint, give me the solution, let's make it happen. We got a saying in the 6th Ward, getting things done. So let's get the job done. My vote is yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So first and foremost, it's imperative to the community to please pay close attention to the back and forth, the fiasco, the games that are often played. If we're not going to provide services, we just tonight, you've heard the director talk about there's a possibility of an expenditure of possibly 130,000+ for one machine, of which we'll probably need 3 or 4 of them. To provide one for a city of our size and think that's adequate is a huge mistake. But with that being said, we just recently made a substantial purchase for equipment to do demolition around the city, and if that equipment was utilized more than twice, that would be a lot. So when you talk about being responsible and putting things in place, we cannot wait until the public outcry is here, and when there's been a gross failure, when there's a consistency in how the council has been working or working collaboratively to make sure that these things are consistently overlooked. There's a level of accountability that's needed, and it's needed right here at the administrative level. This has been, our community has been failed, and it has not been from the workforce of DPW. So with that being said, I'm interested to see how things are going to play out, because as we continue to play the blame game, there's no improvement in the services that's being rendered to our community. But my hat goes off to you guys, especially those at DPW who consistently work hard in spite of being the lowest paid employees of the city, in spite of being the least equipped, in spite of taking on an unfair and undue scrutiny. You guys continue to come to work each and every day, and I applaud that, because very few people would tolerate that for so long. So I too agree. There's definitely room for improvement, but we must make sure we put the onus where it belongs, and it's not on the workforce. It is on the administrative level, which comes directly out of the BA's office and comes directly out of the mayor's office. You have the salaries in the VA's office for 4 or 5 employees that equal almost 20 or 15 to 20 employees in DPW. And yet these people are asked to do grunt work and put themselves in the line night in and night out while we sit here and pontificate on how things should be. Anyway, with that being said, Madam Clerk, I'll see you shortly. I understand that I need to see you for an item.
Okay.
And, yes, and with that being said, have a good night, and I appreciate the work you're doing as well. Good night, Paterson. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Khalid?
Good night, everyone. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Director, I think that, we made progress with this meeting, and I do believe that we all share the same sentiment, which is we're all here to serve the community. We're all here to serve the resident of the city of Paterson, our taxpayer, and to hear their concern. I'm looking forward to sit down with you and just start working in all those great ideas that we expressed today. I know I told you that Monday, that we should be on Monday, but I know that Sunday we're expecting a good amount of snow on Sunday. I know you're gonna be busy. I like your attitude to be ready for Sunday. I'll be on the phone, and we're gonna continue being in constant communication. I definitely have to congratulate Bella for she was in contact with me all day yesterday, back and forth, helping some of those consistent with her call, with the phone calls. And we made progress, and my heart's in this city, and all I want to do is to help the department be more effective and do the work and make sure that the department get the resources. I think that, we do appreciate the work that the DPW team is doing. We do appreciate it. And like you said, there's always room for improvement, and there's always room for new plan and new ideas to put it on the table. I'm a strong believer as a business owner that when I put a plan in my business and it doesn't work, I change my mind and I bring a new plan, and we continue moving forward, making changes until we get the things done the right way. So I look forward to see you. God bless you, Paterson, Council Cali. Have a great rest of the weekend. And my vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Velez?
Thank you once again. Tremendous and productive meeting. Once again, Director Rodriguez, Deputy Director Michael Jackson, also Deputy Director Manny Ojeda, and all the supervisors. Please relay this message to all you. Huh?
That's not the case. That's not the case, Steve Howe.
Oh, yes, please. I'm also Deputy Director Steve Howe. Please relay the message to them that in this council, you have a friend. And anything that I could do for the blue and white color of the DPW, I will do so. And actions speak louder than words. Madam BA, I know that this administration is being put on test in a lot of issues. I would like you to please, at the end of the meeting, if possible, to clarify the executive order. I know we have a lot of viewers out there. I just received an executive order somebody altered the executive order of the mayor and put 2:30 in the morning on the executive order. So, and they sending that through text. And I want to make sure that the residents of Paterson knows that we have the mayor put in place an executive order of Monday, and you can speak on that if the president allows you to do that in this meeting. But it's good to say that, and I will forward you the bogus executive order that they put out there, just probably to confuse the business owners and those that are supposed to be open today. I just want to say that Clifton, Passaic, and the surrounding city have different time of closures, okay, that do not have to do nothing with Paterson operations of COVID-19 executive order. Saying that, I want to wish everyone a good night. And you're gonna have a lot of black ice, making sure that our seniors are safe. And if you're gonna drive, please don't drink. If you drink, handle the key, and making sure that you wear your mask, still use social distancing, and keep on doing the cleaning of your hands and using sanitizer or whatever you want to use to make sure that you keep us safe. COVID is still out there, and my heart goes to all those that have lost a life, a member of the family, and let's keep in our prayers for God who's threatening our houses, our families. So, saying that, Council President, thank you. Good night, everyone. And my vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President.
So I just want to start off by saying that I know it's a Friday, we have families, but I think we owe this to the residents who have this meeting. The intent was not to say that that you guys did a bad job. That's not the intent. We just want to reinforce and give you the tools that you need. We always talk about raising the morale. I know you guys take a beat down all the time from residents and everyone. No one said that you didn't work hard, but a lot of residents complain about the results of the services. So we're here to make it better. I want to thank, the clerk's office and the secretaries. I know this was not planned. Madam BA, Della, I see you here. Everyone that attended this meeting, I want to thank you for making the time. This is really important to the residents. I think they would not they will take offense that we didn't take the initiative to have this meeting. A lot of concerns out there. At least they know that we're working hard to make things better. That's the ending result of this meeting. And that's what I could promise them, that we're gonna continue to work hard to make it better. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Let's wrap it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. The votes are 6 yeas, 3 nays. The emergency meeting of February 5th, 2021 is hereby adjourned. Good night.
Yeah, Corporation Counsel, you wanna add something? I'm sorry.
Yes, Council President. Just Councilman Velez said that there was a new executive order. That executive order, Councilman Velez, if he correct, the mayor amended his executive order. So if you look at the new executive order, it actually says that there's an amendment right above the now therefore. So right above there, it says that an executive order was issued on February 5th. And that this order clarifies the restrictions in the city. So just look at the new order. That is indeed a new order. So the one that you got this afternoon is correct.
So in other words, okay, somebody tell us now which one is right, put in the record, the time, the hours, whatever.
We'll send you the signed copy, Councilman. All right?
Okay, all right, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
You sent it to the council members, right?